Hey everybody, and welcome to the Addicted to Loop podcast, episode 60 with yours truly, Atomic Zero, aka Brian, and Tamality, aka Tamality, all coming from the great northeast of the USA, and look, thankfully we now have power, so that's why we weren't here last week. If you were thinking what was actually happening to us, it's because, well, Mother Nature is a cruel, cruel mistress, and she decided to blow trees and roads and water and everything everywhere, so
I mean,
we're here,
I don't
we're
know
living.
about you. I don't know about you, but here we were without power for almost 4 days.
Yeah, which is, I don't want to say because I made out with maybe 5 minutes of lost power. That's about.
That's nice.
Well, it's funny because it was around me. Like, it was depending on where you were in the state. But
You were the eye of the hurricane.
kind of, yeah, because there were some people that had the same thing where I knew other streamers and podcasters that were out for almost a week. So it's interesting to see what happens. But unfortunately, so we did lose a week last week, but we're going to pick up on everything this week.
I will say, though, no power outage or force of nature could stop
this
me
guy,
from getting in those extra Overwatch games for those Halloween loot boxes.
This guy, let's to show this guy's gaming badge of honor. This guy, he took his entire rig, unloaded it down to his
computer, a dozen peripherals,
everything, down to his car, drove it to his office, and then marathoned at his office because it had power and internet. That is a gamer, my friends. That is true gamer. The only way it could have went up a notch would be if he also brought a futon to sleep there.
Oh, no, I brought a mattress.
Well, I stand corrected.
I slept. Do you know that? Like, I actually slept there.
I asked you that, and you didn't answer.
Were you leading me into that?
Because I thought the one time I asked you, but I didn't think I got an answer from you. I thought you weren't.
Oh, no, I literally slept that night.
The High Marshal of Gaming. I now crown you the High Marshal of Gaming.
It was funny because, spoiler alert, but Destiny 2, I can't remember if we talked about this on the last episode, but Destiny 2 was not compatible for some reason at launch with my computer, even though the beta worked, but they patched it last weekend so it could work with Phenom 2 processors. And so my first experience with Destiny 2 proper was 2 o'clock in the morning in our downtown office, like in unideal circumstances. I'm like, it's Destiny!
Yay!
It works!
Well,
I can die!
I mean, the best part about this, though, which is kind of a happy story in and of itself, was that originally Bungie, the people who make Destiny, originally came out with a statement that said, we hear all you people complaining and reporting outages with Phenom 2, but the Phenom 2 basically doesn't support a type of
SSE something or other.
Yeah, basically some kind of interworking mechanic within the software that's supported by other processors. They said, sorry, too bad, we're not going to deactivate it within the game. The best part is, though, I mean, we literally said, Tom, sorry, here's the article. They said they're just not caring. You probably should get a refund. Thankfully, though, completely out of left field, they go, hey, guess what? We fixed it. I mean, this is kind of a great surprise, which we don't really get from many AAA companies anymore. But it's kind of nice to say someone said no, but then another guy said yes. Who knows?
Here's the thing. Like, for starters, the beta worked. So it was compatible at that point. And somewhere between the beta and the release, they said, we're not going to, enable this or whatever. Now, Dishonored... No Man's Sky was the first game where I experienced incompatibility with this.
For a couple days.
About a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, they patched it and it worked. Dishonored 2. The reason I haven't played Dishonored 2 yet is because it didn't work at launch and I moved on to other games and that snowball is still rolling. I haven't been able to catch up to it. And that was a year ago. But they did patch it like maybe again 2 weeks later. Call of Duty World War II, we tried the beta. It didn't work for me. I think it was the same thing. And so now I'm doing my research. Like last podcast, I was talking about how much I want Assassin's Creed Oranges. And when it launched, I started looking through the discussion threads on Steam. And people were saying like, hey, my game won't start. What do you have? Well, I have a Phenom 2. All right. So I'm waiting to see. Yeah, I'm waiting to see if that gets patched because I still would love to play that. But it was so weird because everyone was saying the same thing. Like, Bungie, you allowed it in the beta and it ran fine. Like, I didn't run into any problems. And without getting into stuff we're going to be talking about later, I've been playing it and it works fine. So
yeah. So hey, happy story for all. But thank you, Bungie, for actually patching out the Fendon 2 processor. But getting into it, we are Addicted to Loot. For those who may not know, if you couldn't tell by now, we are a PC gaming entertainment conglomerate that is Inc. Patent pending, registered trademark. That focuses on a weekly podcast, which is this, which we also live stream on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/addictedtoloot. We also run an amazing, awesome, incredible website, thanks to this guy over here, which is addictedtoloot.com. We also have a Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, sewing group, book club.
We have a dig page.
Girl Scout troop, everything.
Fruit stand. The Addicted to Loot Girl Scout troop.
Yes. So
it's just tag-alongs. That's all it is.
Addicted
we don't allow
cookies.
Any other type of cookie.
Addicted to cookies coming to you. But no, so we are a PC gaming group. That's where you try to be lighthearted, funny, entertaining, yet inspirational, informative, and all-out good guys.
We try to not be dicks about things. Doesn't always happen.
If you want to sum it up in 5 seconds, yes. Thanks, Tom, for spoiling the giant monologue. But yes,
Guardian,
basically,
or not Guardian. Whatever the
Titan,
warrior class is.
Titan,
Hunter.
Yeah. So basically,
Hunter.
So we try to take a serious analytical turn to gaming, but at the same time, we don't like to throw salt. We will try to find the shining of any turd of a game. So Call of Duty, we're looking at you, but it's just what we do. We like to, we are PC gaming people. It is what our lives have been about, and therefore it is what our lives are going to be about. So, welcome one and all to Addicted to Loot, and thank you for all of our returning friends out there. Thank you guys so much. This couldn't happen without you. So, with that, we also want to pitch out that we are also Green Man Gaming partners and Humble Bundle partners, so please go check out both of those that you can find at our webpage, which are basically you get the same great discounts, or you can help the same great cause through Humble Bundle, yet also helping the great cause of keeping us feeding and healthy and lights and games. So, thank you very much.
I want a turkey for Thanksgiving.
Those Girl Scout troops can't close themselves. Please, donate to Addicted to Loot. But
you don't want to leave them poor and cold in the streets this winter, do you?
Do we even know you two guys? You're our Girl Scout group now.
Thank you for the cookies.
Give it now, but chocolate. Okay, so with all that, you know what you can do with Green Man Gaming and Humble Bundle? You can go there and get a lot of really great new releases, especially on Green Man Gaming. And there's been a ton of great releases the past couple weeks. My
Holy
God.
Shit. Yeah.
I mean, between Destiny 2, Fractured But Whole, there's now we have Assassin's Creed Oranges, as I've been told. Or Assassin's Creed Oranges for all those who have a PG.
That in the Google Doc.
Who have a PG-13 filter. Call of Duty World War II, Wolfenstein 2, and Sonic Forces all have been released. And there's
Sonic
even
Forces
still more that this Friday on this podcast, because we record this podcast on Tuesday the 7th, but this Friday, The Sims 4 Cats and Dog is also hitting the market. My God, I mean, I don't know what went on with gaming boardrooms across the world, but they all decided somehow, without knowing, that the end of October, early November was going to be the time to launch.
Remember last year, it was Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, and Call of Duty, whatever the... Infinite Warfare?
Infinite Warfare, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big thing.
Well, the same week.
Yeah, they all dropped about the same time. Now it's kind of like we've had 20 games drop at the same time. It's just...
nuts.
Yeah. Nuts. I mean, so we're going to go through each one, kind of just summarize. Assassin's Creed Origins is the Assassin's Creed in Egypt. It's kind of getting the reviews you think an Assassin's Creed game should get. It's not going to break the mold. It's, hey, if you like Assassin's Creed before, you're going to like this game. It's getting decent reviews. It's always going to get just decent reviews.
It's sort of a for better, for worse. It's the status quo. Even though it was billed as kind of like a reboot for Assassin's Creed, I think it's only a reboot in the sense that they actually took a year off between the two, this and the most recent one, which was Syndicate.
Yes. Yeah.
Where they were doing this annual release cycle, and you had, like, especially with Unity, the Paris one, I remember just like crazy bugs, and it was like, oh my God, but yeah, we got to get a new one out. And so this one's kind of a little bit, I think, more spit shined than it probably would have been if it released last year. And it's got some great things. I still really want this game. It's like I was saying, I'm still watching to see if it gets supported because I would like this. I'd like to play it. I was just talking with a friend earlier today, and he was saying that he's like not really a big like photo mode buff, but this is just like, oh, it's gorgeous. So
speaking of photo mode,
and it's got the discovery mode. So
that's true. The discovery mode for Assassin's Creed Origins is probably the one thing that truly has me jived.
Oh,
I mean, I love Egypt to begin with, but I know it's like as soon as you put Assassin's Creed in the front of it, I instantly come down a notch just from recent reviews and just how the series is going and whatnot. It's kind of like I'm tired of just the cut of the mold Assassin's Creed game. It'd be nice if they got something different. But the discovery mode is incredible. It's basically a curated museum tour at your desk. I mean, it's actually taking you through a museum level history of Egypt. That goes, walk over to this monument. This monument, the purpose of this monument, it was erected in the name of Ramses II back in blank. You know what I mean?
And you're seeing characters walking around and doing things and whatever. And it's like, it's more than just like an edutainment game where it's like, here's a picture, here's a picture, here's a description, and it's more than just lore. Actually, it's a perfect way to introduce lore, but it's the ultimate lore. It's real life lore. It's the lore of humanity. And I like the concept. I'd love to see that in something like I was so happy when Mass Effect Andromeda had kind of two museum-ish spaces. It had the Angara one, and it had the one on the not Citadel, but whatever.
The new Citadel.
Citadel 2.0. Where you could walk around, and that was
Ark?
So funny because
the Ark.
Yes, yeah, and it was so funny because you could tell it was written from the perspective of the humans. So it was, of course, like, you go and you talk, you see something, and it's like, Krogans are dumb, but we've brought enlightenment to them. It's like, I liked that on a meta level of just like, yeah, that's funny. If it was a museum exhibit by Krogans, it would say all other races suck and are weak. But I like this. I love the museum or discovery concept. I'd like to see that in stuff like Assassin's
Creed. I think especially with historically accurate titles.
Yeah.
Things like this, things like even like Total War games or even Call of Duty, Battlefield games. It would be kind of cool. It actually, sometimes people play games for historical realism. Some people play games for historical fiction, like Wolfenstein, for instance. But for the ones that are truly historical, it also would be nice if you could figure out a way to be, educational and informative while also being in an entertaining manner. Because obviously, there's some people out there that they might not actually get information into their head unless it's drilled in there with flashes, explosions, and you know what I mean. So
it's like you're doing this like gripping, horrifying scene in Call of Duty World War II, and it's like there's this explosion, your entire squad dies, and it's like 48 men died in this battle. This battle took place on this day. It's like no, bad time. I'm in the middle of something right now. You go to fire a gun and it stops. It's like, boom, this type of bullet was manufactured. No, you've gone too far. You seem engrossed in something.
Nope, not at all. But so that Assassin's Creed Origins getting as good of a review as an Assassin's Creed game. So if you like all the other games, kudos. If you just like Egyptian games, maybe it's worth a nod, but I would probably say maybe wait till it goes on sale.
And it does look like they, I couldn't tell if it was a DLC or free LC or what it was, but it does go into the supernatural kind of side, which is cool. I like that. Well, I like the idea that they have here's your, for better or worse, you're a superpowered assassin, but it's the realistic Egypt. You're walking around. And then maybe there's a mode, like Far Cry does this too. There's a mode where you're maybe in a dream or a drugged up state or something. And it's like, oh God, I'm fighting Ray or things like that. So.
Exactly. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, the first two Assassin's Creed, the two good ones, were at least the second one was very much connected to supernatural stuff. I mean, it was the very first one when you're very first learning about the Assassins and the Templars. It wasn't, I mean, you had relics and different things in secret organizations, but nothing too supernaturally. The second one got to the point where there was like the relic of great power was left there by an ancient alien type of being, and then you actually went to like a different mortal plane, and this other. It got cool. I mean, it was a little out there, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm getting more of the story, and then it kind of jumped the shark from there on out.
Well,
and in Black Flag, it literally jumped the shark.
I'm thinking of how and I know it was a like alternate universe thing, but the tyranny of George Washington for Assassin's Creed 3, where it was like, what if George Washington had, what is it, an apple of whatchamacallit, and was secretly evil? And so that was, you didn't see that?
For what? No.
There was a whole DLC for Assassin's Creed 3 where it was like, what if George Washington was secretly evil?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was an alternate universe thing. It wasn't
alternate
like
play kind of thing, but
yeah. But I kind of like that. I don't know. They have a lot going on with Assassin's Creed, and it is a tried and true formula. It's a Ubisoft trendsetter, really. You know, it's a cornerstone.
And it seems like they're trying to at least change up the combat in the sense of going more Dark Soulsy, at least in terms of the style of animations. I'm not sure if it's still combo meshing like any other Assassin's Creed game. It basically, it's like Shadow of Mordor. You look for the clues and you react to them. It's not like some master combatician. You just literally, when his arm goes up, I hit this button. When that guy does this, I hit this button.
It's almost like fighting games where you're kind of almost watching for a certain animation or something.
Exactly.
Like, you just tell,
Yeah, you always just look for just how to react to the combat. But also, apparently, Assassin's Creed Origins has insane water physics, which it's cool, but once again, it's just a super pretty game because it's a AAA title. You throw enough money at something, it's probably going to look pretty.
Yep, I'm into it.
Mm-hmm.
I can get in the right mindset to eat that stuff up.
Call of Duty World War II was a game that we were actually excited about for quite some time. It's finally hit. Or at least I got to play the beta. Sorry, Tom.
That's okay. I mean, as long as one of us did, yeah.
Yeah, I liked the beta. Not enough to get the game. To me, it was just a standard first-person shooter with some World War II covering all over it. Man, I hate my webcam is like freaking out lately, but I don't know. So, but it finally did drop. Shut up. Tom, I think you're muted.
My bad.
I was just like, at first I thought you were kidding, and then I was like, no, he's actually serious.
That's okay.
But yeah.
What I was saying is that every time your camera blurs, as I proceeded to fuck up, every time your camera blurs, for audio listeners to get the same effect, we should have the audio like distort, like
something.
That's what I meant when I went.
Okay. So yeah, so I only got to play the multiplayer. I wasn't super impressed, but now that people have the chance to review the campaign, story, multiplayer, zombie mode, it's getting solid reviews for Call of Duty games, like about a 7 out of 10,
good.
which is pretty good. And it seems like the story mode isn't groundbreaking, but it's it's passable. I heard like it's good, but it's not great. I heard it doesn't go back to like the only way it goes back to the original Call of Duty is basically just in form, in the sense that it's a World War II game.
Yeah.
I heard that it's not super historically accurate in the sense of it doesn't really give a lot of facts and a lot of instances and things like that, which I know some people have issue with, but maybe some other people just are playing for the action and the visuals.
Yeah, I think that Call of Duty, like the original Call of Duty, was kind of doing the Saving Private Ryan thing. They were saying, okay, we're gonna, or like Pearl Harbor, we're gonna take the World War II moments and cinematize them, if that's a word. We're gonna make them.
I don't see what. Yeah, I mean, because
which is fine.
They're historical moments that you can we only have descriptions of them. So realistically, it's almost like a director's taking a director's eye to an event and figuring out how did it actually look.
I mean, we've talked about this. Excuse me. We've talked about this before, where it's like interesting that World War II can get like romanticized, where we were talking about this last year with Call of Duty or Battlefield 1, because World War 1 is still held in regard as like, oh, what an awful, atrocious thing, and World War 2 is like, hey, we're going off to fight the Nazis, isn't this great? It's like almost got this, hey, we could be happy about this devastating war. It's like, it's just interesting that that's become, or continued to be, not become, it became it in the 1940s, continued to be something that's like pop culture friendly to the point of being entertainment. It's always interesting to me. I'm a fan of it. I like World War II.
Yeah, I mean, I do love World War II, and I've been craving another World War II title. It's just, I don't know. It's, like I said, might be a game for me that I would get on a sale, personally. It seems like the 7 label kind of is across the board. Like everything's a 7. It's not like one's awesome, another one's terrible. Which it's usually in past Call of Duty games, the story is horrific, but the multiplayer and the zombie modes are great. This is basically just everything is about a 7. It's a Call of Duty game. It's not as good as the great Call of Duty games. It's better than the bad Call of Duty games. So if you're just looking for World War II action, it probably will fit the bill, at least in that sense.
It probably what'll happen, just jumping into the future, the next Call of Duty gets released, this one goes on hyper discount because, no one's playing it anymore, the multiplayer anymore. Get it then for the story.
Yeah, and people would have said that the campaign, like I said, is enjoyable, but not like you should buy it for the campaign. It's not like Titanfall 2 where you could buy it for the campaign and be happy. This would be, I feel like if you bought the campaign, you'd probably be kind of lukewarm about it.
I like Call of Duty's multiplayer. It's like I've said before, they've had many iterations to hone it. So as long as they don't, of course, the what's the whole thing about it? Is like loot boxes drop from the sky.
Yeah, there's some practices that are just a little rough.
It's the dissonance between, hey, it's World War II and we're fighting a World War II game. Oh shit, new guns!
Yeah, I know. I actually hear people saying that it's like almost designed to be like pseudo addictive in the way that they're done for some odd reason. Like I read something that basically was saying that the way that portrayed how they're like given out, how you get them, and everything else was actually almost not underhandedly, but almost like it's it's not just like, oh, you got new stuff. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? So there's like some weird psychological research mumbo jumbo that goes into it.
I don't know if I can comment on that, having now gone deep into Destiny, but yes. It's funny. I think the best iteration, although it was single player, the best iteration of getting an item drop in a realistic setting for me was Mercenaries, where you would actually call it in. Maybe 5 seconds later, but a helicopter would come in and drop, a pallet with your whatever you ordered on it. Like, oh, I want this gun. Oh, okay. And just like a few seconds later, special delivery.
But Mercenaries was a game that had its success in not taking itself seriously. I mean, it was I mean, there is nothing about Mercenaries that was super serious. It was a game that knew what it was and played to that. I mean, it was a game that you could just be kooky, and it was awesome. I mean,
the thing that pissed me off is there was one, because Mercenaries was a game where, and of course, we're talking about the first one.
Yeah, the second one should not have existed.
It's a game where everything's destructive, buildings and trees, and I think you can even, like, if you shoot something into the ground, a little bit of the ground blows up, like creates a little crater. And there was one building that was like, through story reasons, like
you could not blow it
indestructible.
Up. Yeah.
And I just remember some combination of the three of us, you, me, and Alec, just being like, we're gonna carpet bomb this thing, we're gonna nuke it, we're gonna do everything we can. Decimated the landscape around it.
Because there's even cheat weapons that you could get where it would be like a machine gun that shot nukes, and you still
that's what I'm
couldn't
saying.
take it
we
down.
Would do this stuff, and it's like, all right, this will do it.
Yeah,
this will work.
But yeah, I actually do remember the good old days of actually doing the airdrops for Mercenaries. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, Call of Duty World War II for me is a game that I really wanted to happen. Still kind of glad it happened, but I'm not gonna be rushing out to get it anytime too soon, just because there's better options out there. At least in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just drowning in games right now.
Exactly, so same here. So it's kind of like, and the funny part is, like, the new games that I've dropped, I'm still playing older games I just find more.
Oh, yeah.
So it's funny just to see how that works. But yeah, this is going to be a sale.
That's why, literally, not to skip ahead, but literally, Torment, Tides of Numenera, I just played that. When I knew I wanted to play that, I didn't play anything else. I was just like, okay, you know what? I like this, and the only way I'm going to complete it is if it's the only game I play.
Only thing I think about, yeah.
It's the only thing I do. It's like, I'm not going to slip into Overwatch. I'm not going to start Destiny yet. I'm just going to play this till I'm complete.
Yeah. So I would say Call of Duty World War II. If you're a Call of Duty fan, get it. If you're just a Battlefield, Call of Duty, Bad Company, anything type of fan, go get it. You'll probably love it. Everyone else, maybe wait for a Steam sale. On the complete opposite end of multiplayer-focused games, Wolfenstein 2, the actual, like, one of the weird...
Speaking of World War II stuff,
I know.
Actually.
It's kind of like a weird, unintended, like, I don't even know what to, like, stand out hero for the industry in the sense of everyone was making this huge stink about multiplayer stuff that when Wolfenstein 2 came out, where they said literally, this is a single player game. We designed it in that way because we didn't want to muddy the water. We wanted to, engineer and create an experience for our players, and that's what we sought out to do, and that's what we did. Everyone was just like, "Oh my god, yes, yeah!"
I mean,
and then
everyone's this game like that's unintentionally. I'm sure they didn't mean it when they were first starting to make it. Astoundingly topically relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the current
with the current
political climate. Astoundingly gameplay topically relevant with this single player thing. No loot crates, no multiplayer, nothing shoehorned in. It's like, I will say right off the bat, I wish these games were more appealing to me because I'm sure I would probably like it, but the first one didn't. And of course, we're talking about the reboots. Wolfenstein is obviously a classic franchise now. Now it's a franchise. Back in Doom days was the original Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
Wolfenstein.
Original Wolfenstein, yeah.
And then 4 years ago, it was the New Order.
I didn't think it was 4 years ago.
3 years.
That was like 2. They're the interwebs, but anyway, keep talking.
They rebooted it to great success. People loved the new one, and this kind of led to like the Doom reboot and stuff. It's just like, oh wow, we can bring back these games and have them be kind of fresh and exciting without being remasters, or by tremendously changing what they are, what they mean, what they stand
2014. So yeah, 3 years ago. Wow.
3 years ago. Wow.
Seems like so long ago.
Yeah.
I love that game too. I absolutely love that game.
And they're what? They're shooters with a sort of alternate science fiction-ish
It's
story.
an alternate science fiction history, basically, where the Nazis won World War II, but also that
it's Command and Conquer, Red Alert, the FPS.
Kind of, sort of, because I actually did make an FPS of Red Alert 2. It was actually called Renegade. It was alright. It wasn't great, but it was alright. I played it just because.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was kooky and endearing in its own sense.
It's like there was a Rise of Nations that was made that was like steampunk with a campaign.
Yep.
Never knew that.
There was.
Like, what?
But,
why? I would have been all over that.
Yeah, so, but yeah, Wolfenstein, the premise of Wolfenstein is basically the Nazis won. They're in this alternate science fiction universe in that they have tons of high-tech or high-end technology. Like, they can travel to the moon, they can make robotics, they make mech warriors, it's all sorts of stuff. And you play as a resistance fighter with that.
BJ Blazkowicz.
Are you playing with a slinky or something? What are you?
It's the lid. Oh. The lid of my water bottle. It's like really physics happy. It's like it bounces off of anything. So I'm going like with my keyboard and other stuff.
But yeah, it's definitely a great little title. But yeah, Wolfenstein 2 is one of this like standalone games in the sense that it like stood against a lot that's currently going on, in the sense where it was both praise for the fact that it's a single player, non-FPS, non-loot crate based single player experience that's also topical in the sense of Nazism and everything else.
The friend I was talking to earlier today, he said, "I want to buy Wolfenstein 2, not into the game, but I just want to give them my money for making it."
Exactly. There's a lot of
it's like I just want to support them for making it.
There was a lot of people in the community that just said, if you want more single player, non-loot based games, make sure to come out and support the people that do it. Show that there's money in non-multiplayer games. Yeah. And I don't know. I agree with that, and I agree that you should support what you want to support, but also, you shouldn't be forced to buy a game you don't like just to support it. But who knows?
No, it's an anecdote.
Exactly, but I do agree with it, and I do want this game. Like, I absolutely will get Wolfenstein 2. I just don't know when because of everything I have to work through right now. But it also had an issue because there was a lot of controversy over it because of the same issues that made it good. There's lots of violence. There's lots of scenes that are very hard to watch if you aren't familiar with it, or just anyone who's probably needs parental supervision or things like that. So there's a lot of people that said there's a lot of scenes that they thought were too graphic, too gruesome, too over the top. And I would have to experience it myself to actually say, because the first Wolfenstein the New Order was pretty damn gruesome, but I also thought it was a great part of the game. It actually showed more of the game than actually made complete sense in what the game was going for. I mean,
well, it's like I almost wish that we had this had Addicted to Loot when GTA 5 came out, because obviously one of the big things was that one scene in GTA 5 the folks may not be familiar with. There's a scene where one of the characters, Trevor, tortures a guy for information, and it's I think it's is it unskippable, or is there an actual option to skip it?
There might be a content control option.
I feel like that they either added or had an option where it said you can skip this. It may have been a different game, but I believe it was GTA 5. Correct us if we're wrong, listeners, viewers. But anyway, it was a scene where this kind of sociopathic character that you're playing as is performing gratuitous... Well, I say gratuitous violence.
Gruesome torturing. I mean...
Gruesome torture. Yeah, you're performing torture. You're performing the act
Yeah, I mean,
torture.
any torture in of itself is probably gruesome, unless you're trying to...
It's the kind of stuff where it's like you're given tools and it's like, sledgehammer? Okay, press X to break the guy's knees. Now talk!
And you keep on going. Yeah. It's not like...
It didn't... That whole scene, I don't know if this speaks more to my character or what, but that scene didn't faze me. You know, I still felt very much like I was playing a video game, and that it was like, this is this character. He's a maniac.
There's the Uncanny Valley scenario.
Yeah,
here
it's
where,
kind of a story Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, exactly. When there's there's times where a gruesome torture scene in a video game might not be too mentally affecting because of the fact that it could be super cartoony, it could be super over the top, it could be in a world that just doesn't make sense.
GTA is weird because it does bridge a gap into, this is a realistic, this could
potential realistic representation.
Yeah, but the world, and especially characters like Trevor, are so cartoony and are so over the top that I wasn't invested in the way I would have been in real life.
No, not at all. I mean,
yeah.
And the same thing with Wolfenstein. In the very first game, you literally come up behind a Nazi and drowned him in the toilet he was just using. And there's far more gruesome types of executions in the game, but at the same time, considering it's it's in the past, it's historical, it's in a time frame,
alternate,
if you will, like alternate universe in a sense where it can happen and things like that, and at the same time, it's
like if you're playing Saints Row and you use the anal probe weapon.
Exactly.
You're not gonna go like, "Oh God, I bet that hurt." You're going, "Ha ha ha ha!" You're just
exactly.
Kind of like,
I think
it's a manic thing.
Yeah. So I mean, they said Wolfenstein 2 though had some scenes where they thought might have been too realistic, too visual, too gruesome, and maybe they are. I don't know. I have to see it first.
Sure.
But I don't know if maybe the people who said that were not familiar with the game. Maybe they were. I don't know. I'd have to do a little bit more research into it. But there was also controversy with it. But people did like Wolfenstein 2. Wolfenstein 2 had a pretty good review and a pretty good reception from the crowd just in general, minus the fact that people said, I thought that one monologue cinematic was really gruesome and that shouldn't have been in there, but everything else was great. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like you can only I feel like it's hard to say like a game that like you could rip someone's head off visually as part of just normal gameplay, and then you say that's fine, but then like a gruesome cinematic is like, oh, that's too much.
I think, I'm thinking of like Dishonored, and I like what Dishonored did because I actually do get not squeamish, but like a sympathy pain if I ever see, because I always played the non-lethal way. And so sometimes I would go and watch on YouTube, like, okay, watch another person's playthrough or something. And if they do the lethal way, every like one of because each mission you kind of have like a target basically is your objective, a person that you have to dispatch one way or another. And if you ever just do one of the kills, they always have a specific like animation that plays. And it will be things like you'll put your sword through a character's neck and they'll like grab the sword and you're seeing it's a first person game. So you're seeing their face like writhing in pain and there's blood spurting out, et cetera, et cetera. I think that almost goes hand in hand with the fact that if you're playing that way, you're a violent, lethal, aggressive character. So it's like, oh, okay, here's your appropriate, here's your just rewards. You want to play that way? Dishonored was big on that. If you played aggressively, you got a kind of dour ending that fit a murderer. If you played non-aggressively or ghosted or things like that, you had a cleaner world. You had a more pure world at the end. And so I thought, okay, narratively, that makes sense. So if Wolfenstein is trying to portray like, oh my God, it's this horror. It's like a horror game,
Yeah,
we're trying to present this horrifying Nazi-led alternate future. Maybe there's a place for that kind of uncomfortable stuff.
It's kind of like, to your exact point, it's kind of like Dawn of War. Dawn of War was meant to be super gory, super gruesome, and super representative to the Warhammer 40k universe.
This grim, dark, bloody world.
It did just that, and in my point of view, in my personal opinion, it did it extremely accurately.
Yep.
But there were some people just like, oh my God, I've never seen so much blood on a screen before, and they're like, this should be off the shelves, and that was back in God knows,
go play like
1990
games
something.
I was just gonna say, go play games from the late 90s if you want to see blood, because those were. I feel like a lot of games in like the mid 90s were so much more brutal than games are today.
Oh yeah, no one really cared back then. It's kind of like video games. It's a fad. It'll go away. No one cares.
It was a bunch of dudes saying like, I want to play a game where I could take a chainsaw to a demon, and it's just this chunks and things like, oh.
Yeah, but Wolfenstein 2...
I think the bottom line is I feel like if that's the image Wolfenstein... Now, here's the thing. I do remember reading something where it's like talking about domestic violence and things like that.
There's domestic violence. I think there's animal cruelty. There's lots of different things in it.
That's tougher. I put that a little bit differently than physical violence. If it's like...
It's because I think it's more psychological in the sense of the...
Yeah.
But once again, if you think about this game, you're playing a person who... is almost single-handedly taking down an extremely powerful, cruel, dictatorious... I don't know if that's a word, but...
Dictatorial? They're kind of dictatorious.
So, whatever. So that type of... Literally, extremely... Think about the Nazis in actual historical fact. Think about the... scientific experiments that the doctors and everything else did. Think about
that's what I'm saying. Like, if this is the image that they want to,
because
if this is the image they want to portray,
you are the person taking away their empire, and they're just heartless, torturous people.
Yeah,
this makes sense that they might take your loved ones and do something to them in front of your character. It's meant to be psychological to your character. Unfortunately, you're trained to be the character in the game. And frankly, it says something about Wolfenstein if they could do that in such a compelling way that you actually put yourself there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And I think that if that's the image they want to present, then it sounds like they've done it, and probably to their benefit. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what the line is that's too far, because I am kind of a believer in like, okay, if this is your work of art, maybe it's not my cup of tea, but if this is what you want to present, as long as it's not literally real life physically hurting people. And I guess the counter argument,
Wolfenstein 2 comes with a guy with a hammer to hit you with it while you play.
Yeah, exactly. I think
oh my God.
I think the counter argument maybe is that, but it promotes this, and it's like, yeah, well, fucking okay, Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote promotes violence. Like, I don't know. I always that stuff kind of bugs me when it's like, yeah, but if you put this into a game, people will do it in real life. It exists in real life. Wake up, grow some balls. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, it frustrates me. One of the few things I feel passionate about.
But I still think if all of that doesn't turn you away, basically Wolfenstein 2 is a non-cover based first-person action shooter to its core, where there's secret loot, there's some quest choices, there's some very minor RPG elements, but it's basic, and there's some stealth elements too. But it's basically non-cover, shoot the hell out of everything you see, kill, kill, kill. There's some brain puzzles and stuff like that. Yep. If all that sounds great to you, I would fully recommend this game. I'm 100% getting it myself.
Cool.
But like I said, that's not for everyone. Especially, that was the other thing that Wolfenstein, especially the New Order. The New Order came out when, Gears of War was Gears of War and games like that were really prominent in the industry. It was like one of the few new non-cover based shooters where people are like, wait a minute, you can't like click into cover? No, you move, you just move and shoot. What?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's tough. It's hard.
It's weird to think about. I'm gonna go behind this box. Wait, why am I still looking at the box? What? I'm supposed to be able to see over the box.
Yeah.
So
can you crouch?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can hide behind cover, but you're literally looking at the cover when you're doing it. You can't like pop up and shoot. It's kind of, if you're looking at them, they can see you. You can see them.
Right.
It's meant to be just kicking the door.
Right.
Kicking the next door.
Yeah.
Like that's,
and that's
exactly
BJ,
what this game is.
The BJ Blazkowicz image. I'm the big burly man that's like, oh, I'm coming in with double
machine guns, double shotguns.
Yeah. So cool. I'm glad that they made this game.
No, me too. Really great game. Finally, what we want to cover, the last one we want to cover, Sonic Forces, and this is more your path.
Yeah, it came out today, and unfortunately, I of course was watching the reviews, and it just was review bombed, rightly so, because people were saying this game crashes like after the first mission or something like that. Like this game doesn't work. It's not, oh, I don't like this game. It's this game does not work on anybody's machine. Hey, you've released a game that's crashing. And I guess they just patched it. I read just before we started recording. I'm a little bit worried because I liked Sonic Generations. This looks like it's another continuation of that. And I'm worried because people fanboyed so hard over Sonic Mania when that came out 2 months ago or so, that I think people are just going to say, oh, I don't like this, or whatever. It's a newer Sonic, and it's a quote-unquote official Sonic game, where Mania was like, hey, we're going to make a retro Sonic game. It was made by a smaller team and made, it was almost like the indie Sonic game. Mania isn't for me. I like it. I'm glad that it exists, but it's not my thing. Sonic Forces actually is more up my alley. I like the concept behind it. So I will probably be getting it. Just kind of like with everything else, it's like, oh, it's not the highest priority for me right now, but it's dark Sonic. It's moody Sonic, where Sonic Mania was like, it's Sonic circa 1992, you know. So I don't know. I'll probably get it, unless people say, oh, this game's not worth the money because it's short, or it's this or that or whatever.
But maybe once it fixes out its bugs, maybe it has a patch or two, something, maybe it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the concept of it. I mean, I like the originals, the big Sonic that came out for the Dreamcast way back when. I mean, I love the Adventures, yeah. I like this game, and it's basically a similar type of that, just obviously updated, like you said, far darker, which I think sounds cool. I think it's a nice little change on the Sonic meta.
There's this kind of like, backlash of like, oh, modern Sonic games suck. Give me my side-scrolling one. I kind of like modern Sonic games. I'll be the vocal minority that kind of likes them.
Look at Mario. Mario has gone up and down and up and down and up and down. It just hit a high point with Odyssey, but think about it. It's the same thing. You could do the same thing with Sonic. Why don't we break the mold with Sonic instead of making it a platformer-y, runny game? Make it something else. Make it a battling RPG. Something.
One of my favorite Sonic games is Sonic All-Stars Racing. Like,
I mean, like, do something
it's a kart
with
racer,
it. I mean, treat it like IP. Just do something different with it. Make a Mech Warrior game out of Sonic. Who knows?
Give me a discovery mode.
Yeah.
I want to walk around and say, oh, yes, this is that tree.
Tails.
Yeah, here's Tails. Hi, Tails.
They were formed in a lab. What?
Yeah. Did you know how long it took me to understand Tails' name? His real name is Miles per hour.
Yeah.
Miles per hour? Like...
Yeah. 3 tails.
Spin around. Miles per hour.
Yeah, miles per hour.
I was like... It was like 3 years ago. I went, oh!
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
And I've been following Sonic my whole life. It's just like...
And then...
But yeah, so that's out today.
But yeah, I would say maybe keep an eye on it, but don't rush into it, because obviously there's some pretty big issues with it. And of course, as always, The Sims 4 Cats and Dogs is coming out. We have talked about that on the podcast before. Expect to probably hear a lot more about it in the coming weeks. But
I mean, I'm probably not going to talk like a lot about it.
But just be prepared. It's The Sims.
Yeah.
Just watch out for it. But yeah,
it seems like it's adding a new map, Brindleton Bay, and it's adding the concept that you can have customizable cats and dogs, which is really cool. And I think, unless I'm mistaken,
options meow, meow, meow,
meow, or meow. Yeah. Well, I love it because like the voice options in The Sims are like a bird, a bell, and I can't remember the other one. And so it's like, do you have a cat that's like a tree or a rock? It's like, no. Oh yes, a rock cat. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, pets have their own AI. It's not a controllable thing. It's just that, okay, you now live in my house, and you, which is great for cats, because it's just like, hey, come over here. Let's sit in this chair. Cat goes and walks away. It's like, that's
a cat.
Right. That's about right. Wow, you've been sleeping for 5 in-game days. Wakes up, eats, goes back to sleep.
Poke.
I mean, I'm excited.
Get off my Johnny Four-Finger rocket set.
No. That'd be so fun if the pets could like screw with things.
The cat
go in your room, your guitar's on the ground. Like,
Camera goes to your face. Camera goes to cat. Face, cat. Face, cat. It's just big. No.
Whole roof blows up. But I'm hoping to be a crazy cat lady in The Sims. I just want to have a million billion cats.
That'd be funny if you had an infinite amount of cats in your house. You literally you're just like bouncing off the hitbox of the cat, and just like,
excuse me, I gotta get to the bathroom. Excuse me.
You open up the door.
There's so many cats in my bathroom. That's not something I ever thought I'd say.
You open up your clear shower. There's nothing in it.
Oh my god, there's so many. How am I gonna categorize them all?
Time to pun. If you're looking on your Bendo card sheet, it was exactly 45 minutes. So,
not bad.
Winner is Thomas Smithington from Wellington Falls,
You're crossing
North Carolina.
Characters and genres.
Thank you, and congrats on your new Girl Scout troop. Okay, so moving on. So, getting out of the new releases. Woo! My God, BlizzCon was this past week. It seemed like forever. Like every other second for like it felt like 5 years now has been Blizzard something, Overwatch something. But
especially Overwatch. This was like over.
There was a BlizzCon. It should have just been called OverCon or something because all I heard about it was nothing but Overwatch. I heard like some random panels on different things, but it was 90% Overwatch. So we have a ton of Overwatch stuff to talk about that came out directly out of BlizzCon. One of the things before we get into a lot of it is that they actually have announced Diva-themed accessories and paraphernalia for PCs. Like you can get a Diva tower, Diva mouse, Diva keyboard, which realistically is a perfect fit because Diva's all about the tech side of things. They actually look really cool.
She's literally a Canon StarCraft 2 Pro, right? Something like that. Like,
yeah,
that's her actual lore.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. So if you like the color palette, there's already been images online with people who have made a Diva tower and things like that. Yeah. They look pretty cool. I mean, you just have to like the look and the color palette and all that fun stuff. So that's really cool. But one of the biggest things is that we're getting a brand new Overwatch hero called
Moira.
Thank you. I butchered the name, but it's
Moria.
Moria. Moira.
One does not delve too deep. One does not delve too deep into Moria. I am mixing my memes like
I was gonna say, like, what are you even doing anymore? Go home, Tom. You're drunk. But
it's this water.
So Moria is a support character. Myra.
Go for it. Just call her Moria.
Moira. I can't put that.
We'll get to me.
I can't it in my voice.
We'll get to me and my beefs, but you first.
So, the new character is a support character that's focusing on both healing and damage. I mean, you can say that about any, I guess, support hero. I mean, Lucio has its damaging moments. Mercy's almost 100% support. Zenyatta is arguably a pretty damn good sniper. And then you have Symmetra, who's actually, I finally learned how to play Symmetra. Spoilers.
Oh, you got a leg up on me.
Yeah, I finally learned how to play her. But she's an extremely defensive hero. So, I mean, they have their kinks and quirks, and then there's Anne, who's in the right hands terrible to play against. But I actually think she's actually a little bit more of the offensive of the supports.
I always forget that she has that
sleep dart.
Yeah, I always forget.
I just
that
spam
until
it
someone
and hope
uses
for the
it
best.
against me.
Like the best part for that is there's certain maps where you can just like barely see people's heads, and you can just like shoot it over like a little incline and just ping, and just don't even do anything, purely just to annoy them for the fact that I have to sit here for 5 seconds. God damn you! But so we have a brand new support character that's focusing on healing and damage, And she's kind of an interesting mix. She's kind of supposed to be the anti-Mercy, which seems weird because Mercy comes with a halo. Moira comes with horns. If you notice, she actually comes with horns on her on her head.
Hair.
Yeah, hair, horn things. So she's actually kind of like an evil healer, which is almost like you think of like a Shadow Priest or something.
In the game
from
lore,
WoW.
It seems like she created Reaper. It seems like she, what is it, Talon? I think she works for them or a system. She's like the scientist that wants to use her science ability to better humanity, and that's always evil, you know. It's like I don't care for her, and I don't know why. I have this really weird I said this on Twitter. It's like, you know how sometimes, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but sometimes you meet a person and you don't know what it is. They haven't said anything, they haven't done anything, but you're like, I don't like you. Do you ever have that happen? It's just like you meet someone, you're just like, there's something about you. You haven't said a word, and my impression of you is like, I don't quite. It's like, it's literally the I don't like the way you're looking at me kind of thing. And it sounds horrible to say, but there's something about her design I don't like. There's something about her. When they first said, I saw the headline, new hero, Moira, I thought, great, Irish or Celtic hero, cool. That you're going to get a Celtic warrior, that's going to be awesome. Overwatch doesn't have any like Scottish or Irish heroes or anything like that. Cool. And then it's like, no, she's just kind of got that like evil witch scientist look. She's got tubes coming out her back with kind of draping robes. She's very angular. She's very, her physical design is fine, whatever. She's kind of like modeled after David Bowie, to the point where one of her legendary skins is literally David Bowie.
Yeah, I made a comment since you brought it up. I was waiting to bring it up. I made a comment on her about skins. I looked through all of her skins. They're very non-impressive.
Yeah,
they all look the same minus color palette. Like
their color palettes are like some slight armoring.
Like usually
and then
it's
there's
like
the David Bowie one.
Yeah, usually it's like first skin tier, literally the exact same image, with just with some different colors. Second tier is like, maybe there's a different type, like maybe the armor is worn, maybe the skin tone's a different color, maybe there's like a special like little cinch to the hair. Next one down actually could be a still the same look character, but with different armor, like different types of class.
Something pretty substantial.
Something different, but not huge. And then the final tier of armor is like a complete reskin. Like, you're going from a standard-looking person to a frog, to a Viking, to something.
Yeah, that's like Lucio is like his first tier, his colors. And his next tier, it's like, he has some actual like changes in his outfit. And then like the final tier is the full frog DJ outfit and stuff like that. But anyway.
But hers are purely just exactly the same character, just with different color. I'm just like,
and I was really bummed when they have some promo videos for her, and she just no offense, but she just has the voice of an evil like American woman. Like, when I say evil, I mean the stereotypical like, I will destroy you. I'm thinking, well, she's not even Irish. She's not even like. I thought, this could be cool, and it feels like. It feels like a wasted opportunity. Like there isn't really much that's done. Her skill set is a complete mishmash of Mercy and Zenyatta. She's got this orb that goes from person to person, or a beam. I don't know. She doesn't vibe with me. I haven't played as her yet. So I will say that I haven't actually played as her or against her. So who knows? She could be really great. But it's like, rubs me the wrong way. And that's so weird to say about a video game character. But it's just like, I keep seeing, and there are some people who love her. There are people who are like already drawing fan art of her. You know who I love? You know who I want to see? I want to see freaking Torbjorn's daughter, who shows up in the Reinhardt short.
Oh, that's right.
Junkertown Queen. Give me the Junkertown Queen. Holy shit. Like,
So getting away from visuals and everything else. So Moira is a support that focuses on damage and healing. So she has, of course, she's going to get 4 new abilities. First one is Biotic Grasp, using her left hand. That's the other thing. She has a dark globe, and she has a black globe and a yellow globe, basically saying heal and damage. So one hand controls healing, one hand controls damage. Using her left hand, Moira expands Biotic Energy to heal allies in front of her. It's basically, you throw out a ball, the ball, as it travels, hooks up to people and heals them. It's kind of like Zenyatta's, but it doesn't stick to one person. It's kind of like an area effect ball heal, where it kind of tentacles out to whoever's in range and heals them, kind of thing. I've seen, if you look at the video showcase, it's basically there's people running, she shoots it out, and it heals them as they're running, kind of thing. It also replenishes her own biotic energy. So biotic graphs. Her right hand fires a long range. Hold on, sorry. Is this her? No, this was a different one. This is the graphs, not the orb. So forget about that. So the graphs, which is the beam version of the orb, basically it's a beam weapon that saps energy health, while also healing herself and replenishing her own energy. But it also, it's a weapon that can heal her own allies, damage enemies in the same go. So depending on who you're hitting, it does different things, which is interesting. And that's kind of a...
It's kind of like Anna, how she shoots and it either heals or damages depending on what you...
Exactly. It's kind of the same breath here. She's very themed over the sense of her moves do a certain thing depending on who you're hitting, which I think is kind of cool. Also kind of not... I mean, I feel like there's less skill with it because you can just spam it and know you're doing something. You're either damaging or healing. Yeah. You can just shoot into a crowd and do something. But basically, you can heal and damage with it and also replenish your own energy. The orb, Mario launches a rebounding biotic sphere. She can choose between a regeneration effect that heals or a decaying effect that damages. So this one, actually, you do trigger. There's a fade ability where she teleports a short distance. I've seen this. Like, there's a hook coming at you, you can go. There's a missile coming at you, you can teleport away from it. Sombra. That kind of thing. It's kind of like a... It's a reaction ability that you can get away from different things. Her final ability, she puts her two hands together, and she channels a long-range beam that both heals enemy and bypasses barriers to damage enemies. So this is basically like her grasp, but on overdrive. It's extremely powerful. Like, it could... Like, if there's a big enough group of people, it's an ability that can completely cause every enemy in that group to instantly fall over and everyone else to just keep standing. Like, it could completely wipe a team just by shooting it into a crowd. So it's a very powerful ability. So from what I've seen from the videos of people playing it on the development server, she seems like she has extremely high damage potential. Like, she can be very, very damaging. Like, actually more than, like, offensive heroes if done correctly and done right in the same scenarios. So I don't know if she's going to get rebalanced before launch or what. But she seems like an interesting character. She definitely... I don't know. I want to play her just to see. I mean, I like the sound of her abilities, but I'm just not sure how they're going to translate. So it'd be interesting to see.
I have the opposite feeling. I don't like the sound of her abilities. Like, the fade is the only thing that sounds interesting to me. I think that there are other characters who do what she does. I don't know if the fade ability
is directional in the sense of, I don't know if you hit it and it randomly selects a spot. Because, like, if you look at Reaper, you have to choose where you teleport. Or is it like Tracer, where you pick a direction, you hit the button, and you go in that direction a certain footage? Like, I don't know.
Probably. But I think that there are already... Basically, it sounds like she is literally other characters' abilities brought together into one, and that just everyone else does what she does better. And so it's almost like she's kind of the... Okay, I want to use this skill, that skill, that skill, that skill. Not as good as that character, that character, that character. So she could be a jack of all trades, which is situational. There are points where that could be good. But I don't know. I'm surprised that they've added a new support hero, especially because they're doing all this stuff with Mercy, and it's like, really? Another support? I don't know what else I would have expected. But again, I was part of the crew that was anticipating the Junkertown Queen. I thought, okay, she's going to be... Because in the Junkertown map, if you start on the defending side, in the first room, there are these two kind of mech suits that look like Junkertown equivalents of Diva suit.
Yep.
And so that, has had my mind whirling of like, oh, you're going to get a Diva counter. You're going to get Junkertown Queen, and she's going to be this like scrappy anti-Diva.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Even though the promo material shows her with an axe over her back, I thought, I'm
trying to think what would be an anti-diva, though.
Well, it probably maybe wouldn't fly, but it's a mech. That's,
literally like a counter mech.
Like the mech in Aliens, where it's just it's her in this kind of cage.
Maybe it's like a melee
punches
mech.
And,
melee mech versus a shooting mech. Someone who basically makes her absorber shield null and void, or something like that,
or at the very least a big melee, because Reinhardt is your big melee character.
Someone who could hack, someone who could hack her mech and take control of the character or something. That would be funny.
I mean, Sombra, I thought hacking character. Oh my god, you can have the ability to, do stuff like that.
But yeah,
and they've added Sombra to the best of their ability, which is okay. No one can use supers when she hacks them, or special abilities, stuff like that. But point being, I thought that's what they were leading to, and this Moira kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, what was she?
Usually there's a hint or something or a spoil, like
God,
or a teaser
Sombra
or
was
something.
a year of spoiling,
but
like not spoiling.
This one,
teasing.
to your point, it just kind of was like an announcement. It wasn't like they released a teaser trailer or anything. It was just, here it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see how it goes. People seem to be excited for it, so we'll see what happens. I'm excited to try her when she finally does hit.
I apologize, but I haven't played her yet, so I don't know. But just like
these are
Overwatch is big on design. It's like,
exactly.
okay, this character and also representation, etc. And Moira, I guess to their credit, she's got the androgynous kind of thing going on, so that's Overwatch has been big on, okay, we've got Tracer, she's a lesbian. We've got this character. It's, maybe this character is transsexual. Who knows? This character's autistic, etc. So they're keeping in their socially conscious kind of vibe. I just don't know why her look, it's like her outfit doesn't vibe with me. It's so dumb, but it's like
purely a visual thing.
Yeah, it's a visual aesthetic thing of like, I don't like her sleeves of her shirt. I don't know. It's like, it's weird.
Did she do something to you? And like,
I'm trying to think if she reminds me of
when you're
somebody,
walking to a mall and she closed the door in front of you or something, and
and the camera just zooms in on my face like, I'll remember you. You didn't say thank you when I held the door open for you. No, it's just super weird. I don't know what it is. But we'll talk more on Overwatch.
We'll figure out. So interesting new support character coming to Overwatch. Something that we both absolutely love was they released also a new short, and this one featured Reinhardt. Oh my god, this one was so heart-wrenching. It's
so good.
I don't know, do we talk about it or is it spoiled?
I don't want to spoil it. I think people should watch it for themselves. It's not long.
It's a really incredible short that you should definitely go out and see.
It's got young Reinhardt.
Young Reinhardt, not old Reinhardt. Young Reinhardt, kind of showing where he gets his motivation and his push, and how he gets pushed into Overwatch, which is,
and it's also it explains one of his skins, which is Wilhelm.
Two of his skins, technically.
Two of his skins, that's true, and also the Eichenwald map. Down to the fact, I laughed so hard. There's a point where, no spoilers, but Reinhardt comes crashing through a building, and that building is near like where the payload starts, and it's got that
hole.
It's like, I remember early on, one of the first shorts was the Hanzo and Genji one, and on Hanamura, Hanzo's arrow is like stuck. It originally was stuck in the map, like in one of the second capture point, and it's the arrow that he shoots in that animation. And it's just stuff like that I love. Like, I know why this arrow is here. I know why this part of this environment is destroyed from the Reinhardt short. And it also introduces, just as a side thing, but introduces Torbjorn's daughter.
Yeah, which is really interesting to see what happens with it. But
I love her. Now I love her. I looked at her and I said, now that's someone I can trust. I said, look at her. Look at this muscly girl.
This person you saw for all of like 5 seconds.
I like her. I would like to have a sandwich.
Is she gonna have like the female turret or something? Like, I don't know. Like,
it's a turret, but it's got like little pink eyes,
like googly eyes, something like that. But Reinhardt short, absolutely incredible. Definitely go out and see it. We got announced a brand new map. It's a Blizzard World themed map where it's a Overwatch map that takes you through every major Blizzard game.
World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, StarCraft, Diablo, yeah. And it's got like
all of it.
It's set up like a theme park, and it's literally like, oh, it's the Hearthstone Tavern, and here's a Heroes of the Storm arcade.
Yeah, there's a StarCraft 2 tank destroying a building, like things like that.
I love it. I hope. I doubt it.
Point, I believe.
Probably. Yeah,
I think that's what they said on the write-up.
One. But I hope that there are, like, how like when you're loading all other maps, like the starting zone has like some stuff you can kind of play with. Like Hanamura has the arcade, and it's like some maps maybe there's like a soccer ball or a basketball. Like the basketball. That's in the There was a point I was playing last month, and a soldier, one of the other guys was playing Soldier 76, and he hit it, and it went in, and we all just turned and we're like, "Whoa!" The entryway had opened. We should have all run out, but we were like, "Whoa! You got the basketball!"
That is still my one goal: is that I will hit the basketball off the table with the character and get it into the hoop.
They must have changed it, but I saw. Unless I dreamed this, I thought I saw.
You dream about Overwatch now?
Someone please confirm if this was ever possible, but I saw a Symmetra pick one up with her beam and lower it into...
I saw that too.
Okay.
I've seen that somewhere.
So we both had the same dream.
Yeah, I've seen that somewhere, yeah.
I couldn't remember if that was possible or if that was just something I, imagined. I wonder if Symmetra can pick it up and put it in. But yeah, little lights go off and it's like... But I hope they have stuff like that in the Blizzard World map. Just little goofy things. I saw in the trailer for it. The Heroes of the Storm has skee ball.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, what? This is great. So yeah, Blizzard World, that's coming. I think all of this stuff is on the PTR right now.
Exactly. It's all up on the beta servers or on the trial servers.
The last thing that's really, really, really freaking cool and I can't wait for, hand in hand with this, is there are Blizzard skins
coming to Heroes Overwatch. Coming to Overwatch.
Yeah. So it's like Diablo and StarCraft, etc. skins for Overwatch.
Which will be awesome. Which will be a lot of fun.
Yeah. There's a Nova Widowmaker, which is really cool because in Heroes of the Storm, there's a Widowmaker Nova. You can unlock
the Widowmaker Nova will be really cool.
Yeah.
I really do like. Is Diablo going to be like Reaper or something?
I think it was Orisa, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Really? Orisa?
I can't remember. I don't have.
Either way, it's not that big of a deal.
But it's a heap of skins that are Blizzard, themed.
I mean, they already did that with Heroes of the Storm. They already put Overwatch. Yeah. Might as well go the other direction.
My question is, are they going to replace? Because they always replace, especially for special skins, they replace a couple of the voice lines. Are they going to fully replace voices? Is Widowmaker going to have Nova's voice, or is she just going to say Nova things in Widowmaker's voice? Because it's the Santa Torbjorn is I don't know. I can't remember what it is, but it's when he's erecting a turret, he's like, ho, 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 here comes the pain, or something like that. So, I'm looking forward to it. I love them.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I wonder if they're going to do that as an event. There's going to be special, Blizzard event, then you have to try to grind and get loot crates for the skins.
I'm surprised, unless they literally launch this, next week, because they've got Christmas coming up. And so their Christmas stuff will probably start in the beginning of December, if not right after Thanksgiving. So it might be that this will, launch imminently and they'll have this kind of filling this month. And then December will be Christmas stuff.
That would be a lot of fun.
Because the Halloween one was all October.
Yeah, it was really cool. So, but spoilers
lovely.
To come. We'll be talking about that soon.
Yeah.
Speaking of more Blizzard stuff, StarCraft 2 is going completely free to play later in November. And when we say completely free to play, we mean that it is going to be the original Wings of Liberty campaign.
Which is the Terran campaign?
Yes, this is a Terran. So this will include the original Wings of Liberty campaign or the Zerg-focused Heart of the Swarm if you already own a Wings of Liberty. So it depends.
Oh, that's cool.
So if you own one, you'll get the second one. But primarily it's going to be the Wings of Liberty unless you have Wings of Liberty, which I thought I did. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Yeah.
So this will, if you log in between November 8th and December 8th to claim it. So basically, if you just log in, you can basically say get or download, and it's yours permanently. Which Tom might be.
Give me just a second.
It starts tomorrow, Tom. November 8th, not November 7th.
Okay,
November
okay,
8th.
okay.
So you also get access to ranked multiplayer, as well as free full access to co-op commanders. So
now, StarCraft 2 has had it's a free trial.
It had a free trial feature that was recently put on a couple months ago. We covered it in this podcast.
Because I played it.
Yeah, it was basically they let you taste the first couple missions or something like that.
Okay.
I loved Wings of Liberty. I actually really loved Wings of Liberty. I loved the RPG elements of Wings of Liberty because you played the single campaign as a character, but you got to choose what to focus on when and what to unlock where, because you So based on how you played StarCraft, depending on which vehicles you like, which characters you like, which units you liked, you got to improve your armies in the sense of your own playstyle, which I absolutely love. Like, I focused on the units that I really, really liked. So I put all my resources and research and building into the units I usually played with. So I absolutely love that. So StarCraft 2, at least Wings of Liberty, was really great for me, especially for all those who like RTS. And for any of those who are too young to know what RTS stands for, please, for the love of God, play this game.
Yeah, RTS, which real-time strategy. The last one I really got into was Red Alert 3, Command and Conquer Red Alert 3, and I loved that. I really like a good polished RTS. And StarCraft 2, the little bit that I played last year, I dug it. I'd play more if I had the game. So I will probably be definitely digging into this because I like the concept, and especially you say, I didn't know that you kind of like have an RPG element to it.
Yep.
Exactly. I like that a lot.
The campaign is not really, really good because the original campaign in StarCraft 1 was basically play a mission and you get a dialogue. Next mission, you get a dialogue.
That's what I was about to say. It's not just mission, new mission, new mission,
no,
new
it's,
mission.
I mean, I don't know if you get there might be times when you get to choose which mission to do first, but you do get in between stuff. Like there's things to unlock, there's things to explore and stuff like that.
And of course, I would probably prefer the Zerg. I like their kind of like build, feed kind of mentality, which is kind of cool. But I'm not going to complain if this is what's being given. And who knows, maybe I'll like it enough that I'll pick up the other two.
Yeah. The one thing about Blizzard, they're not like Steam where they mark stuff down that often. Usually almost everything stays full price no matter how old it is. So it will be interesting to see. But it's really cool. I'm glad they're doing it. It's a great game to go free to play. Also going free to play through Uplay is Watch Dogs. The original one is going free on Uplay for this week.
Now, we're going to hit a rare moment here. I already know. We're going to hit a rare moment on Addicted to Loot where I think we disagree on something.
Maybe.
Just kind of on principle.
Maybe.
Not,
yes.
Yeah. So, Watch
Hey,
underscore
Kate,
dogs.
thanks for joining us.
Hey,
Katie.
Hey,
oh my
you're
God.
fantastic. You're great. I like her a lot. Anyway, Watch underscore dogs came out a few years ago, and to mixed reception, and personally to mixed reception.
Mostly mixed reception, yeah.
There are parts of it that I really, really liked, and there are parts of it that I really, really, really didn't like. Namely the story. I didn't like the story's tone. I didn't like the story itself. But I really, really, really like that game's Chicago. I love that game's environment. I had a ton of fun just getting on the subway and just riding it around, like really slow, just riding around, stopping, listening to the music, because you have, you can put music to your in-game iPod sort of thing, phone, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
iPod, geez, that dates me. iPhone. And
not like you said Blue River.
Yeah, there was some stuff.
I mean,
yeah, there was some stuff about my what do you call it? The little thing, the little clip thing that would have like
shuffle?
one Britney Spears song on it.
The shuffle?
No, it would have like one Britney Spears song on it.
Oh, the little plastic thing that you can plug into the little like mini CD player.
Yeah.
Weren't they like in McDonald's Happy Meals or something?
Yeah, it was literally like one crappy,
really horrific quality single.
Oh
yeah.
my God, it'd be like one.
I completely forget what that was even called, but I remember what you're talking about.
Clip something.
Yeah.
Boy, that was old. That was a while ago. But anyway, Watch Dogs. Watch underscore dogs, not to be confused with Sleeping Dogs, or Watch underscore dogs 2. It's free. It's free this week. I think people should get it, or at least claim it, because it's one of those things where at least claim it, and then you have it.
Claim it.
Yeah, if you decide you never want to play it, that's fine. But if you miss this week, you won't get it. So I think people should get it. Ignore the hell out of the story and just play like the little mini side stuff. Watch Dogs had the coolest thing with its little multiplayer,
Yeah, that's the one thing I did like hearing you talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it preceded Dark Souls, I think.
Yeah, it did.
And what it would do is people could enter your game, or you could enter another person's game at any time, and like it would be something like
was it Hip Clip? Katie has asked.
Hip Clip. Hip Clip. Hip Clip. Google is showing Hit Clip. Yes. Yeah, Hit Clip. HIT.
Thank you, Katie, on the assist.
Oh, she's a real life support character, I'll tell you. Anyway, Watch Dogs. Yes, so
Dark Souls 1 came out way before Watch Dogs. Just FYI.
Okay. I feel like I heard about this before I heard about
Dark Souls is 2009, Watch Dogs is 2014.
But it was this great kind of thing, because the game's about hacking and infiltrating and stuff like that. Not to the degree that I would have preferred, but, whatever. Took it as it was. You would enter another player's game, and you would look like a standard NPC. And you would have an objective where it's like, stay near the other player without them noticing you. Because if they notice you, they can shoot you, and you've lost your little mini mission there. So you would just look like random NPC, and you'd enter another person's game without them knowing, and they would be doing whatever they're doing. So if it was a guy that was just screwing around, I remember there was one time where I entered another guy's game, couldn't find him anywhere, and then I looked, and he was on a motorcycle like 500 feet away just doing jumps over environmental stuff. I was like, oh, this guy's having fun. I don't want to ruin his day. So I just I watched him a little bit and I logged out. But it's a really cool, terrifying kind of thing, because people can do that to you too. So you're just going around, and all of a sudden, like, there's a car behind you that's like moving, like, it's like, that's not an NPC that's driving that. That's a real person. You turn around, you shoot the driver, and it's like, oh, congratulations, you found the infiltrator. Or it doesn't happen. It's like, oh no, that was just a buggy NPC.
And the whole point of that was what? That they could steal from your game or just basically mess with you?
Well, it was an objective. Like, stay near this player for a minute or 5 minutes or something like that. And you got whatever.
You got some kind of loot or something.
Yeah. Loot, a gun, whatever.
Did you say there was one time it was like either someone did it to you or you did it to someone where they were basically out in the middle of nowhere and you were just sitting there watching them?
That's what I just said. The guy was riding his motorcycle and
you were
just
literally
doing all these jumps.
But you were somewhere where an NPC just will never be, so it's blatantly obvious who you are.
Yeah. I was just like, guy in a yellow t-shirt and earphones. Just oh no, you're right there. Oh gosh, that's actually you. But seriously, it's like a random dude just standing there in a field, like, crouch.
So, I agree with Tom. It's free. Free is always a good price, no matter what the game is. I had the same experience where I really bounced off this game hard, very hard. I instantly disliked the story. The premise was interesting. The fact that you are an extremely knowledgeable hacker, very technical savvy person. It's kind of like if Grand Theft Auto wasn't about running, gunning, and shooting. It was about like actually hacking a computer and being like super techno sleuthy. But the only problem was after the first half of the first mission, that all goes out the window. So I'm instantly going, so you're a GTA clone, but you're a bad one. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other issue was the things that make the game unique were also the things that brought it down, like the sense that you could hack people's phones to get their money, and I did that so much in the first 10-15 minutes of free play that I could buy anything I wanted. So I'm like, oh, this is pointless now. And also it's weird, like, I didn't enjoy moving around the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like GTA, you could drive around pretty easily and still have fun. I feel like
the cars were kind of weird.
In Watch Dogs, it was too realistic in the sense that there's traffic jams. Like, you couldn't get around. Like, the
cars functioned kind of weird.
There's too many narrow 2-lane roads that had too tight of corners, and they want you to drive like GTA, and you're sitting there going, there's too many cars. Like, I physically couldn't outrun the cops because it'd be like bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Yeah. And
you'd just be crashing into things.
It was a very fun game for me to roleplay being in that world, but when it came time to playing the game, which, that all goes out the window, you're not obeying traffic lights or things like that. You're trying to get away from the cops or something because it's an objective.
Yeah.
Like, you're exactly right. It would just be like, oh my God, somebody move. I can't get out of here.
It would be almost impossible. It was like too city realistic.
And then you would go to turn and the cars would have like this wide kind of handle.
I mean, at least in GTA, they have like 20-lane streets when there shouldn't be.
Well,
they're kind of like
LA is like...
Yeah. It's just kind of like, maybe someone could fly through this intersection and not get hurt. Yay.
Yeah. And of course, I wanted you to do things like bring up traffic bollards and things like that, or turn a green light or red light green so
and things like that. Yeah. I end up putting on the traffic bollards more on myself than I ever did on the cops. So you had to time it, and it took forever to get the timing down. Or you would time it correctly, then you would
because you're driving. And so it's coming up, and it's like, yeah, press a button, you know?
Yeah, you had to do it perfectly to make sure that you catch both people, or you would hit it, and then another stupid pedestrian car would tap you, throw off your timing, and then you smack into it, and the cops are just like, oh. So it's free, but I'll put it this way. If it wasn't free, even if it was a penny, I would say don't buy it. So, me personally. But yeah, it's going free to play.
No, I don't disagree. I mean,
you might as well get it.
Yeah.
But you're probably not going to get that much experience about it. Now, probably my most personal exciting news piece that I've stumbled on in a very long time. And this is probably not going to matter to anyone that's listening to this because it's a
well, fine, bye.
We'll wait. No, actually, he is going. Okay, never mind. I heard the door close. But yeah, so this is a game that I grew up with. It was a very obscure game that, like, really only me and a few of my friends where I grew up in New Jersey knew about. It's a game called Dot Hack. Dot Hack was a JRPG well before JRPGs were a thing. It was a game that put you in control of a character within an MMO. So you were a player playing a character in an MMO. But the issue was the MMO was branching to real life, and you actually had to figure out exactly what was happening. Basically, players were dying in the MMO and also dying in real life, and you're trying to figure out what the heck was going on, and the game takes this really cool, deep arc of lore and just everything. I mean, this game got incredible. It is probably one of my all-time favorite RPGs, bar none. Well, and this was back in the PS2 era, for all those who might not know that PlayStations went down that low. But this is back during the PS2 era. Well, they're finally releasing it remastered on PC, and this is going to be incredible. It's a full 1080p 60 FPS remaster, which also gives you a brand new fourth game that was not available on the PS2. Exactly, right, Tom? Thank you for joining us. But basically, Dot Hack came in originally 3 different games. Each game advanced the story further, and each game was all try. I mean, each game took a long time to do. It took a while to beat each and every game. They were incredible. They were fully jam-packed of incredible gameplay. But now we're getting all 3 of those games completely and utterly remastered, and even in the sense that there's some life improvements, that they took out some of the grindy parts, they sped up some things and things like that, which, as on the surface, I think are good moves, because there were times where it got a little slow. But I think this is great. I think for anyone who likes JRPGs or anyone who just likes a really rich story-based game, especially RPG-style games, definitely check this out. It's $50 for all 4 games, when before this used to be $50 per game. So definitely check this out. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be coming to Steam. So keep your eyes out for it. This is a game that is 100% worth your time. With that, we will go into the awesome, the amazing, our playlists. And the feature of our playlist this week is that Destiny 2 has finally dropped. Now, I spoke about Destiny 2 at our last podcast a decent amount at length, so I'm going to try. I did get further. I actually completed the story 100% through. I haven't done it.
Thank you.
If I was marathoning the story or just including all the side quests?
Just the story.
If I was marathoning the story, I probably could have done it in 2 days. And that's not saying, like, if I just straight marathoned it.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 6 hours.
Okay.
Maybe a lot. I don't know. Maybe less than that. I mean, the story missions are definitely long, but I think you could easily do it in one night. Like, you could do it in one sitting if you marathon them.
Would you recommend focusing on story missions at the expense of exploring the world? Like, to get it out of the way and then go back to the proper game?
Yes, if you don't mind being behind in gear, because the side quests are one of the best spots to get the other, basically to get improvements in gear. They also do give you elements that you might not find in the story, but the story is definitely the most, I'd say, the enjoyment factor. The story is far more enjoyable than most of the side quests. So
really?
It could be within your interest to marathon the story, but if you do that, some of the earlier side quests might become kind of pointless because the gear becomes, you quickly advance past the gear and things like that. Because I'm the person that, like, I start a world, I do the story mission to unlock all the side quests, I complete that world to the point where they say you need to go to a different planet now. Then I complete all the side quests and everything else that's available on the planet. Move to the next planet, do it. Eventually, I got to the point where I started to grind out the story specifically. I think it was it was basically right when I thought the story was culminating, like where I thought it was going to be like, this is the point where if you start this next mission, you'll complete the game. But actually, they break it up more times than I thought, starting after that. But so there was a moment where I did marathon it till I beat it, but. So that's basically the only change that I had since the last time I talked about it. It's purely just completing the story and what that entailed, which is some pretty interesting stuff. But I don't want to spoil it with anything for Tom or Katie, who's also in chat. I would gladly play for anybody, especially because I think my character's practically is getting close to max level. I'm pretty decently geared too. But I haven't done any of the strikes. I haven't done the raids or anything else. Those are the things I really need to get into, and I really wanted to get into.
But you do need to play story stuff to unlock.
Yes, which is an interesting change, which I was not expecting. Really cool thing that I can't tell you because you haven't gotten there yet. But it is extremely cool how they do it. So with that, I'm going to turn over to Elise what your impressions are so far, because I kind of already had my day in the sun with it.
It's really funny side thing, but I'm just looking at, like, your entire screen's aesthetic is like sunshine. It's like
very yellow right now.
Yellow. This is like, even the things on your cabinet behind you have like a yellow.
I don't know why they have a yellow
hue to them.
I mean, this is my Destiny Collector's Edition.
Yeah, I see Cade.
This is my Destiny Collector's Edition. This is Cade. There's stuff in this that I'm eventually going to frame and put across and put maybe there's posters and like postcards that come out. So I will be pimping this out later. But yeah, it's kind of the walls beige. The light over here is very warm.
Literally, I'm in like gray land, like slate gray.
Yin and yang, left and right.
Yeah, well,
gray.
you got to take the light with the dark. But we'll be talking about Torment later. Anyway, Destiny 2. Yeah, so I've been playing Destiny. Holy shit. What kind of weird alternate universe is this? I have been playing Destiny 2, and it's fucking great. It is so good. It's like, if I were to describe it to myself prior, if I was like, but what is Destiny, Tom? Now having played it, I would say it's Guild Wars 2 mixed with Diablo.
Yeah.
It's Guild Wars 2 in the sense that it's got you're doing an MMO. There are other players around pretty frequently. You're in a zone, a map, an area, and there's enemies that are just constantly respawning, and and then there are these like public events that will happen every few 15, 10 minutes maybe. It feels like they happen really frequently, at least where I am in the starting area. And it's just a big thing where it's like everyone that's there can choose if they want, hey, come and kind of like congregate here. Okay, you got to hold off waves of enemies while this thing happens. Or, oh, quick, go here, shoot this thing. Now go over there, shoot that thing. And these just repeat over and over and over again. And they're just... it's like, it's not even like opt-in in the sense of press a button and you've opted in. You could just literally be walking by and it's like, oh, this is happening. And maybe it's halfway through its, event like cycle, but I'll come in and shoot the enemy. Yeah, sure.
And you know that depending on when you come into that open world event depends on your loot.
Yes, yeah.
If you're there from the start, you basically there's almost like a percentage of completion, depending on how much of it you completed or took part in completing, dictates what loot you get at the end of it.
Now, the only thing I don't understand is when it's first starting off, there's a flag and you can rally to it. What is that?
Basically, what that means. So, if you haven't started one of those events yet, what I learned is that the open world event is timed, meaning it'll eventually disappear, but one person has to run up to the event, trigger the event.
Oh.
When you trigger the event, it starts counting down. Basically, the timer goes to 0. If the timer goes to 0, it disappears.
Yeah.
If you activate it before it goes to 0, it then puts out a beacon to everyone's map that says, this one's active, this one's active, this one's active.
Because I've seen that. I've seen that beacon where it's like a public event is incoming in 2 minutes, 38 seconds, 37, 36.
If someone doesn't activate it, it's kind of like, well, if you go to your map, it just says that it's there.
Yeah.
But if someone activates it and you go to your map, it actually says, this one's active, it's in progress, go over here. So it's kind of like when you rally the flag, you basically rally everyone on the map to give them notification.
You're saying, hey, this is happening.
Hey, guess what? I'm doing an open world event. You should probably come over too.
Gotcha.
So that's basically what it means when you rally a flag.
But also, again, like any MMO, it's got, which I'm really enjoying. It's got these little side things where it's like the Lost or something like that, where it's
all the monsters or the different enemies.
It's little secret passages where you go, and it's almost like a mini dungeon.
So basically that's
culminating in like a mini boss,
which is one of the reasons why I like doing the side quests. The campaigns bring you down some of those dungeons, but the side quests will do the rest of them. And the other thing is, there are hidden areas within Destiny. If you play the maps and just like spend time on them, you might find different corridors and pathways and tunnels and caves that you just didn't know were there.
All I've done so far is, because the very start of the game gives you some tutorial missions and stuff, and they're cool, nice big cinematic things, and then it lands you basically, you go into a social hub and says, go to Earth, go to this zone, and it's this big open winding connection of little maps that are just connected through corridors and stuff, and they're kind of each localized, like events happening in them, but it's one big area, and so I've only been there. And I did like 2 or 3 story missions that says go to Titan or go to
Titan's the next one.
Okay.
Titan's
Should
the
I be
second
going
mode.
there? Should I be going there, or is it?
It's up to you.
Okay.
Because, like I said,
I don't have things like the strikes unlocked or whatever. So.
Well, you can't unlock the strikes until you complete the story.
Yeah.
The strikes.
Okay.
I was overpowered for the story missions as it were, but I couldn't get to strikes until I completed it.
Gotcha.
Like I was probably well over the power or the light range for strike missions. You have to complete it to unlock them.
That makes sense.
I mean, it purely depends on what you want to do, because each mission has a recommended power rating.
Yep.
You could technically still beat something that's over your power rating. If it might take a little longer, might be a little bit grindier, might be a little bit more hectic, but you can still do it. So it's purely up to you. I mean, I absolutely adore Titan. Titan is gorgeous. My God, is it gorgeous. It's probably my favorite area.
It seems like all the enemies and stuff are scaling with you. Am I right?
They do, yeah. So the enemies will get harder. I mean, even like little mini creeps, when you're going up, they scale depending on the planet you're on and also kind of your power level. I mean,
sure.
When you get super high level...
Because I noticed as I've been leveling up, I'm still in the same area fighting the same guys. And it's like, well, they don't feel like they're getting easier.
Usually
but it feels like I'm staying alive longer.
Yeah, basically, usually the planets, as you go, they will get harder on them. But you can go back to the original planet, I mean, you're super high level and like massacre them. But they do advance with you as you go through. The missions do get harder, the enemies do get harder, the enemy types get harder, things like that. The objectives will get harder, they'll become more difficult.
I love that, they're like loot crates hidden, loot chests hidden around.
Yeah, and
finding them is fun. Yeah. Like, just that's something I always love doing in MMOs, which is just exploring the environment. And this seems like, thankfully, it's a game that rewards that.
Interesting, it does, because in the original Destiny, those crates you just had to find. In this one, you can unlock the ability to get a marker on your minimap to find.
Yeah, I got that.
It used to be that you just were wandering around and you stumbled on one.
And of course, these are called region chests. There are also just kind of like regular random chests that you can find, like sort of hidden. They're not, the region chests are giving you more substantial things. Random chests would just be like, oh, here's some glimmer.
It basically gives you very minor rewards. It could be a resource, could be some scrap parts, could be some money. I mean,
and so that's all like the Guild Wars 2 side of it. Especially, it reminds me with the public events. But the Diablo side of it is why you keep playing this game. This is the guns and the enemies combine in this beautiful ballet of like, the only way I could describe it is that feeling of popping bubble wrap. If that bubble wrap, just every time you popped one, it reinflated. That's what this game is. Especially, you've got the little ones, and then you got those big packing bubble wraps where it's just like, pooh! And it's like, you've killed the boss. It's like, great. And then it reinflates. You're like, yeah. Pah! You just go back, and you pop it, and you pop it, and pop it. It's just satisfying to no end. The guns have an incredible heft and thwunk to them, even the little ones, like I remember this from the beta, too, like the hand cannon.
I love the hand cannons, yeah.
There's a shotgun in the game, but it's like a special weapon. The hand cannon is essentially your shotgun. It's your just boom. It's so satisfying. Yeah. And the way the enemies fall is satisfying. Like you shoot a guy and there's just it's not just like, oh, I've been hit. It's like, whoa, and they go flying back. You just feel this intense power. And
because that's basically what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be it's almost like in Halo, the Master Chief was almost like a superior being or superior race. You're kind of the same thing. You're someone who's like in other games, like let's say Call of Duty. You're a normal person who just somehow manages to destroy 5,000 people in a campaign.
Right. It's
in this like, universe, you're it is normal. It is every day for a Guardian, Titan, Warlock, Hunter to butcher tons of squads. Is what you're meant to do. So it's the game lets you feel that while also being challenged, which is the great part about it.
Yeah, I've been playing as the Hunter, and I don't know what's specific to the Hunter versus the other classes, but the mobility, oh, mamma mia, he just flies and floats. It's probably everyone does, but he just feels like it's even better than Titanfall for me. It just I feel weightless in the best possible way.
The pace of the Titans can be different, and depending on how you use them. Like you said, Hunters are meant to be super speedy, and you might be somewhat decent at range or more mid-range. For me, the way I play my Titan for the vast majority of it, and the way I spec them so far, I'm 100% like meleeing drives my character.
I've been definitely melee. Like the melee is everything in this game. That's what I was leading up to. It is single shot. It is like I just spec'd my guy, and actually it's funny because I really liked the gunslinger in the beta, but I prefer the arc strider now.
The one with the pole arm?
Yeah, it's a little bit more PvE geared. I think I will keep the gunslinger spec'd for PvP.
You should do that, and just remember what I sent you with my friend saying that. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. But the Arc Strider feels a little bit more PvE friendly, especially with the actual ultimate, which is just like you close distance.
It's incredible. You're basically a Darth Maul.
And I also my specialty, whatever you want to call it, weapon, my purple weapon right now is the sword.
Oh, I love the sword.
Oh my god, I wish that I could just keep that charged forever. That's just like, because I also like it because it goes out into third person.
Yep.
And so all of a sudden it becomes like Skyrim. It's like really cool.
I always loved the swords. The swords were in the first game. The swords were something that you had to do an entirely tough, long quest line to get. You had to complete a mission to unlock the lore of it. Then you had to complete a mission to unlock the blueprint of it. Then you had to complete many missions to unlock the pieces of it. And then you finally forged your sword. And I'm just like, I remember finally getting the damn thing and just being like, oh. Yeah. Now it's just like, it's commonplace. It's like, oh, you got it in the chest. Here you go.
I mean, the thing is obviously
so awesome. They are a lot of fun.
Yeah. The thing is, obviously, right now I'm in the, I'm leveling up. So it's like, as soon as I get something better, it's trashed. As soon as I get something better, it's trashed. And I'm hoping that once I get to an end game-ish state that I can have a sword more permanently, or longer term, because I love the feel.
You might be able to find a gold level sword.
Yeah. Versus the sniper rifle, I feel
I'm not a fan.
The auto rifles and scout rifles fill that void.
Well, for me, it used to be in the first game. Scout rifles were extremely powerful and extremely well used in the first game. Scout rifles seemed like they got nerfed in the second game. At least in Destiny 2, I almost in Destiny 1, I almost exclusively used scout rifles. I was incredible at scout rifles. I love them. In Destiny 2, I hate scout rifles. They're completely underpowered. They just don't feel worth it. I could do far more damage with an auto rifle, and because it used to be that scout rifles were so precise, but they were single shot. So if you timed the headshot, you could just pick apart real quickly through an entire mob.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That fills the sniper rifle void.
But exactly. But even still, in Destiny 2, if you do that with a Destiny 2 version of a scout rifle, it just doesn't have the same punch.
Sure.
In Destiny 2, if you took a pulse rifle or an auto rifle, I actually think the auto rifles are by far the best weapons in the game. But they're super accurate for a machine gun or a semi-machine gun. Yeah. And you could, like, I've sniped people with a freaking auto rifle at distance with a headshot, and it's just kind of like, okay, this is stupid. But I actually like the submachine guns, the pulse rifles, and the assault rifles are really where I've been sticking to.
I don't usually like burst weapons, but I like the pulse rifle.
I like the burst rifle. If I had a choice, I think I would use an auto rifle for probably my first 2 guns, just about.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I do love the hand cannons. I like the pulse rifles. I like the submachine guns, and those are really cool. But the auto rifles are definitely where I think are the best. And then for my power weapon, I still prefer the fusion rifles. The fusion rifles are incredible, but I do really love the sword. I feel like the grenade launcher can be worth it, but they don't have the same pizzazz. The rocket launcher, you don't get the damage output per clip as you do with the other weapons. I still think the arc rifles and the swords are probably the best way to go. I feel like Destiny 2 is so focused on being far closer range that I feel like the sniper rifle is pointless. Like, I've tried using the sniper rifle, and I'm sitting there going,
I haven't felt any situations
take the shot, hit the shot, and the guy's still standing. I'm like, he should be dead.
I haven't felt any situations yet that's called for one.
No, so far for me, Destiny 2 has really just been, you do take cover to get away from certain things, because sometimes the PvE does get over your head, but in a good way. But most of the time, it's running, jump into combat, bash people over the forehead with rifles, shoot them in the forehead with more rifles, jump onto the next mission. Like, you're running through and bouncing through. Like, you're basically like this. Like, it's almost like
right now my spec is that when I dodge, it refreshes my melee, and when I melee, it refreshes my dodge and gives me health regeneration.
Yeah.
So I am just literally like, boom, dodge. It's back up. Boom, dodge. It's back up. And so I feel like I'm like it's like that scene in the Matrix where Neo's just like, or not Neo, it's the guy he's shooting at, and he's just like 20 of him dodge out of the way at once. It's like, that's literally my combat strategy right now. It's like, and I took that to PvP. Just saying. I'm friggin', because one of the quests it gives you is to like do 2 PvP matches right out of the gate, and I don't know if I was just playing against new players or what, but I have no shame in saying that I decimated. It's just like, why is nobody else doing this? That's how I felt. It was like I was jumping, meleeing, dodging, jumping, meleeing, dodging. That's all I was doing, but it just was like nobody else was doing that. I'm like, is this like not kosher or what? But I finished, top of the team, highest score and stuff like that. But PvP is fun. It's certainly a PvE game for me, though. I'm sure I will dip in and play the PvP. But I think the bottom line is that something that I wish someone had told me, and I had no idea about this, but there is no chat by default.
No.
This is a game with dozens, hundreds of other people playing at the same time as you in close proximity to you, and there is no chat. It is all emotes, or unless you opt in and say,
you can
hello.
Opt in just for an open voice or something, or you can
literally say, I want to talk to this person, or
it can be party-based or group-based or just open world-based, purely your choosing.
Nothing takes you out of like a fantasy MMO faster than you spawn and someone says, give me a free sword, please. It's just like, oh. But this just like my first interaction with a person, I was stopping, I was looking at my gear, and all of a sudden there was like this thunk. It's like, what was that? And I turned, and there was a person, and he just goes, and I'm like, for our audio listeners, I'm waving.
Good pantomime audio skills.
He just waves at me, and I just wave back, and he flies off. I was just like, okay, that's the extent of my social interaction. That's fine. And then there is the social area.
Even the social area, you'll just like run around people, and like that's it. Like there really isn't that. You can be as social as you choose to be. Usually, it's just you make a party and people are just social within the party or in the raid or anything else like that, or the strike team.
in context of the game, it works in the sense that it's like, okay, you're the superheroes of the world. You're the superpowered.
You're the defenders of Earth, basically.
Yeah, you're the defenders of Earth. So it would make sense that it's like, here's me doing this, and then over there, oh, there's another guy. That's maybe he's a warlock, and he's doing his thing.
And he's also helping the world.
And we're all kind of here helping, and it makes sense in context. It's not, because MMOs really, a lot of the time, are like single person's story, and everybody's doing that. It's like, we need you, the savior of humanity, to do this one thing. And like the 20 people around you are all receiving that message. So I'm having a great time with it. I really am digging the loop, for sure. I see where it's addictive. I also see...
I still really miss the fact that in Destiny 2, the stats assigned to weapons and armor was random, and I hate in Destiny 2 that they're set. So
really?
If I find an armor, if I find a chest piece that's named blank, and you find a chest piece that's named blank, they're identical. I hate that. Like, you can't find an improved armor isn't just randomly rolled. It's you find the better programmed armor. Like, it's not. Yeah. I hate that. I hate that you can't find like you find two different assault rifles that look exactly the same, but one is slightly better damage, but one has better recoil. So, something like that. But it's exactly, they're cookie cutters of each other. If you find it, then everyone else has found the same exact thing. They look identical.
If I had a complaint about Destiny 2, a chief overarching complaint, it's that not a lot is explained. Like, I remember, in the weeks leading up to it, seeing just what felt like 1,000 articles of like, here's how, here's the best weapons, here's how to do this, here's how to do that. And I'm thinking like, I don't want to min-max this game. I just want to go in and have fun. And now I realize that those were actually saying, no, here's stuff that you're not going to get told.
Yeah, there's little inner working things that you just might not know about.
Like, it never tells you that you can go in. I don't think. It never tells you that you can go in and with some gear, change its specs. That you can right-click on a piece of gear and say, oh, I'd rather have more mobility than
Give
resilience.
That time.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay. At least early on it doesn't.
The problem is...
And there's a lot of other stuff where it doesn't tell you. Like,
if you marathon the story without doing side quests, it might get paced in properly. But if you start doing open world events and doing side quests and stuff like that, you get to the point where you start to say, like, well, I wish I could do these things, and you don't hit it till much later. Because there's points when I got to it in the story, I'm like, oh, I already know how to do this. Skip.
Yeah, see, I feel like it's almost like the game has the problem of, okay, we want to put in a tutorial for new players, but we don't want to bore returning players, and we want to get them right into the action. Because I just felt like as soon as I was dropped onto the open Earth map for the first time, there was like one of those public events was happening.
Mine too. It literally dropped me into one.
And I was just like, I have no idea what's going on. I have no, what? How do I even access a map? And like for probably 2 hours, I was like, who do I sell my used gear to? I'm like looking all around, like, where's the nearest shopkeeper?
You
and then I looked
yourself.
it up. I looked it up online. Like, oh, you just literally destroy it.
You junk everything. You don't sell it. You just junk
it. But I'm
it.
like running around the map, like, why is nobody here? Say shopkeeper. I am stunned that there is no shopkeeper.
You can buy things and that's it.
Yeah, but it was just like, and even then, like, I'm handing tokens to this guy who sounds like Fenris from Dragon Age 2, and every time he talks, I'm like, it's Fenris, oh my god. And then it's like, you gotta be level 20 to do this. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that because that's one of the things
it escalated from like level 3, level 4. You must be 20.
Well, the thing was, you're basically grinding reputation to get basically loot chests from them.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I feel like if you're a level that you can receive the coin to get it, I feel like you should have the option of unlocking the loot chest at your current level. Obviously, you may want to save the chest for when you're 20 because you get better loot, but that could be your prerogative. I hate that they lock it because I was level like 2, and I'm like, oh, I can unlock an anagram. It's like, wait till you're 20. God damn it.
And it doesn't tell you that overtly, so I could see someone going into the inventory and be like, well, I don't need these tokens now, and junking them.
Bing, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I was thinking to myself, and I'm glad that you just said that, because I was hoping, and I'm again glad that you just explained. I thought, should I junk these? Should I hold on to these? Is it like when I hit 20, now they'll continue to be redeemable?
If you turn them in just whenever you get them, when you hit 20, when you go back to revisit him, it just instantly pops up. Like, I unlocked it. I went, crap.
So does it constantly...
Yeah, you can just keep going with it, then eventually everything that gets stored up, you just go back there and it gives you all of it at once. Because I unlocked it, it said, come back at 20. It's like, damn it, I grinded the 20, I came back, and it just, as soon as I talked to him the first time, it's just like, bing, 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 bing. It just gives you everything. So it just unlocks the chest as soon as you go back to them, basically. So don't, so I would just say instantly turn them in, like, use them if you got them, but yeah, just...
Now, the other question that I've got is that, like, it's like I was saying before, I now have a mission that's like, go to Titan. And should I, like, my brain is saying, you know, maybe this is just from years of other video games, but it's like, finish Earth, then go to Titan. Or is it go to Titan, then come back?
It's purely dependent on you. I personally completed all the side quests and then moved on because I felt like you get the most out of each planet that way. It's purely depending. Like you do get loot out of them. You do get to see certain things. You do get more experience for your character, so you get more unlocked points to put into your character. So it's purely dependent. Like, do
the adventures respawn, or once you've done them,
the side quests?
Yeah,
the side quests are done as soon as you do them. They're done.
Okay.
The open worlds constantly go, but the side quests are done.
Because you get these side quests that are called adventures, and they're like narrated by key characters.
That's the thing. The thing about the side quests, they're side quests, but
they're story
per the
related.
voiceovers that it gives you as you're doing the side quests, there is narration there. So when you're done that narration, you did something to the world or the story. So you can't redo the quest.
Gotcha. But anyway, yeah, Destiny 2, I'm having a shit ton of fun with it. I am really thrilled to be playing it. I am happy to... It's great because it's one of my favorite types of games. It's do you got 5 minutes? Do you got 50 minutes? Do you got 2 hours? Whatever time you have, you can get something out of it.
Well, that's the thing with Destiny, though. Even the side quests can take you 20 to 30 minutes.
Well, I'm thinking of the fact that if you just want to dip in, shoot mobs, get gear.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to get geared, though, in Destiny is to do missions. Yeah. You get rewarded with them, and then you also get the chance of getting the loot drop. Mm-hmm. It depends. Like, the harder... I don't know. It's weird, because sometimes you start getting loot drops, like, left and right, and then sometimes you feel like you go through a drought. So I think it's purely just RNG. But if you do a mission, you're guaranteed to get it at the end. But also, the harder the person you're fighting, the better the chance of getting something to drop. Sure. And usually the missions give you a few versions of mini-bosses and, like, harder targets and stuff like that.
And certainly I'm eager. We haven't yet, but I'm eager to co-op stuff with you. And
I'm all for it.
Maybe we'll do it after we finish tonight.
And maybe with Katie.
Does she have it?
Maybe she has it. I thought I was under the impression she had it.
Katie, do you have Destiny 2 yet? If you do, what's your battle.net name?
Yes. Hit us up. But yeah, so like I said, I still love Destiny 2. I completed
And we'll form the official Addicted to Loot clan.
Clan? No, it's whatever it's called. I got that wrong too. No, it is clan. I was calling it guild before. That's what I was wrong. I was like, yeah, I had it wrong before. But so my only thing I want to add before we move on is that I did complete the story mission, or the story. I love the story. I think it was really well done, especially compared to Destiny 1. I think it was much better than Destiny 1. However, and it could just be the format of the game itself, it still felt like it was paced oddly in the sense that it felt rushed. Like, I felt like it was... And she does have it, so come on.
Are you serious? Oh, that just made my day.
But
I didn't know that. For PC.
I would hope so. That's what we were saying before.
Oh my god, Katie, DM me. What's your battle name?
Slipping right into those DMs. But yes.
Slide right on in there.
But yeah.
Why am I saying Katie? Kate.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm so excited.
I guess my main thing was...
I'm adding syllables to your name. I'm so excited.
Because I guess the world is meant to have some sort of like built-in timeline. If you do the mission somewhat too quickly against each other, it just feels like it's super rushed with a little less development than you probably would want. I actually probably would have wanted a few additional missions in there just to make it feel a little bit more even. But I still love the adventure. I think they did an amazing job with the adventure. I think it was a really cool story. Everything leading up to it was great. I thought the very last mission is incredible. The last boss fight, but everything ahead of that is just like, my god. But
yeah,
like,
they certainly know how to do cinematic.
Yeah,
they're very good at funneling you through a corridor so you come out to the scene they want you to see.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, I noticed this like right in the beginning mission, you're walking through like a cave, and then all of a sudden, bah, da, da, da. It's like, yeah, I had nowhere else to look. Of course I was looking at,
Yeah.
They're very good at that.
They do really good. But yeah, I'll just say that I did really enjoy this story. I'm really excited to get into the strikes, which is going to be my next thing. But the thing that has been holding all that up is the fact that someone that also runs a podcast with me got me re-hooked again on Overwatch, which that's been the main thing I'm going to talk about this week, at least for me, is just we both took part in the Overwatch Halloween event. Tom was like, "Oh, just play with me for like a round or two." I'm like, "I haven't played it in forever. Sure, why not? I'll get a few random loot crates." And then I have been marathoning it since. It's amazing how Overwatch can be like one of those things where you get addicted for a while, then you stay off of it, then you get addicted, then you stay off it, you get addicted. You know what I mean?
They have that great thing that once a week, every first 3, then the next 3, and then the last 3 games that you win in the arcade give you crates. And then, of course, you get a crate every time you level up. But it's like once a week you have that, okay, I just need to win 9 games in the arcade, and I'm going to get 3 loot chests. This is piece of cake. And then in the process of doing that, maybe you've lost a couple games, but, I've just leveled up, so I just got a 4th one. And maybe, I'm halfway to the next level. You know what?
You might as well just keep playing.
I'll just play the other, 5 or 6 games that'll get me to the next level.
5 days later.
Yeah. I have played more Overwatch in the past month than I think I have since it first came out. Like, I played a ton when it first came out. Then I played sporadically. But just the Halloween skins and the timing just in my life, it's like... I'm ready to just play this game right now. Mm-hmm. Literally just play Overwatch. And I only stopped because I started playing Torment, and I thought, okay, I want to just focus on this. And now I'm playing Destiny. So
yeah,
when the new update with the Blizzard World,
and Moira,
and Moira, but Blizzard World,
you're gonna like her one of these days.
Yeah, maybe. And the Blizzard skins. I'm going to want to play.
No, definitely. It definitely does do a great job in the sense that if you do take a break from it does pull you right back in. But we did take part of the Halloween event. Just basically what I wanted to talk about for that was, I think this is the very first time I did the PvE, the Junkenstein's Revenge event.
Oh, yeah?
It's
okay.
The Unlimited mode was by far the most enjoyable version of it. But it was all right.
Yeah.
I mean...
I did it to do it.
Exactly. I did it to get the free chest.
Yeah.
I did the standard one purely to get the free chest. It was all right.
I played a couple rounds with a friend of the podcast, Leanne, Ambling Panda, and we just did it to cheese it for the victories in the arcade.
Exactly.
It was pretty much an easy...
It's a very easy win.
It's hard to lose it,
Yeah.
On lower difficulty.
I mean, but overall, just in terms of the structure of it, the endless mode I really liked in terms of just the pure difficulty curve of it. The standard mode I thought was just way too easy. I just thought it was like a grind. I'm like, well, this probably isn't worth it. But I did like the difficulty of the endless mode. Everything else was good. I mean, got some Halloween-themed loot, got some Halloween-themed loot boxes, and everything else was just fun. So, I mean, that's basically my big thing with Overwatch was I jumped back into it, tried the Halloween events.
Yeah,
and I'm still, and like I said, I'm still currently grinding it.
Any revelations with any of the characters? Because when I was playing, I suddenly understood Orisa, and I finally got good with Diva. And Junkrat. I finally was like, it's like I figured out how some of these characters are best.
I finally figured out Symmetra. Like, I finally had, solid games with her. I actually had, a game with her where I was, on fire for a good amount of it.
Wow.
I finally got to the point where... Because it took me forever to feel like whenever I played a Symmetra character, as soon as they got their beam on me, I felt like I died instantly. But whenever I did it to people, I felt like they never died. Yeah, it's like,
why is it happening in reverse?
I finally got it to the point where, oh my god, I'm finally getting to the point where I got it charged up enough where I could see how you could bounce between people with it and kill them pretty quickly. I actually got to play the game with her that actually wasn't completely terrible.
I just want to say real quick, hi Kate's TV, which we're on right now.
Hi. But,
we're in your living room.
So I finally had a revelation with her.
Or bedroom, or wherever.
Let's see. I played a good amount of Orisa, but I didn't really have an amazing job with her. I figured out the characters that I was really good with. I'm still pretty damn good with.
Diva. What I finally figured out is using her to, do what you need to do, and then hit that shift and get out of there.
Yeah, she's best at hit and run.
I think the big revelation that I had in this past month of Overwatch was learning when to hold them and when to fold them, basically. Like, literally, I've kind of always known that with characters like Tracer. Like, don't play Tracer expecting to kill people. Go in to harass.
Yep.
Like, I posted a clip of this on Twitter. There was one point where I was doing Eichenwald, and usually there's a pretty common choke point. I zipped right through it.
I'm trying to play with the cat. She said the cats are watching.
Hi, cat! I love cats. Oh my god, Kate, send us a picture of your cat so I can make it in Sims Cats and Dogs this weekend.
It could be the first addicted to loot emote.
Oh my god, we'll have a masked cat. So yeah, I was playing as Tracer, and I zipped over to the objective, and of course, everyone's at the choke point, and they start seeing like objective being taken. I just hid, like I crouched down and hid behind the payload, and then a Reinhardt comes around the corner and went, hi, and zipped right out of there. I thought, I just figured out Tracer. You get in, and of course they scattered, so our team was able to come careening through that wall that they had made. And I thought, okay, now I get it. And there are a lot of characters like that, and a lot of situations like that in Overwatch, where the secret is not to go in thinking, I'm going to go in, I'm going to shoot, and try and kill as many guys.
You have to play certain characters the way they're meant to be played. Like,
I think it was Lucio. I was playing as Lucio, and I started just on a whim, rushing everyone, and it weirdly worked. Like, not even attacking, but just like getting up in everyone's faces and like just coming in, being like, hi, and everyone's like backing off to try and attack me, and it helped push. It actually was a legitimate like, haha, I'm coming in. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. I love Overwatch.
Yeah, I do. We should probably play more of it. I've been marathoning random heroes for a while now. Yeah, I had actually a very. I actually somewhat started to figure out Hanzo. Somehow. Oh, yeah? I finally figured out how to do like his instant scattershot kill. Finally.
Oh,
like there's just random little things that just eventually started to come together.
Mm-hmm. But when you play enough Overwatch, probably with any game, but like at least with Overwatch experience, when you play enough of it, you just start to like things click. You go, oh. It's like I said, 2 weeks ago during our last cast. It's like, if your team stays on the payload, you're gonna win.
It's amazing how many people.
It's this weird strategy.
Yeah,
I'm saying sarcastically.
My biggest problem with Overwatch is that I still don't. People don't swarm when they need to swarm. It seems like
people like to scatter lone wolf,
or like they'll go in one at a time and just die. So,
that's why there's a dialogue option that says group up.
Yeah, and people still don't follow it. Like, there's been numerous times where, like, I'll jump into a point, either defense or offense, with, like, my ultimate charge to start causing havoc, to turn around and be like, if I had backup, we would team wipe right now. And it's just like, nope. So I'm just sitting there going, la 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 la.
Oh, yeah, there have been times where it's like, I'm Zarya, and I'll have the ult charge. And it's like, I just need everyone to come in so I can knock this off. And
what boggles my mind, which I don't understand, is when you're on defense and the team is taking the point, yes, you're gonna die, but jump on the damn point and stall.
That happens all the time.
I hate when people you'll
all the time.
Like, you'll die and you'll be watching someone and they're running away because they're outnumbered. I'm like, the whole point at this moment is that 99%. You're there to kind of hold on a few more seconds so that some people might be able to get back in time. That's all you're doing.
Maybe you're Torbjorn and you don't have a chance of surviving this. But get in there, put down your turret. If you die, turret goes up, and here comes the Reinhardt. He's finally spawned.
Like, do something to try to stall the delay. Because I hate people that are like, well, I'm gonna die, so run away. No, your whole point is you're gonna lose anyway. Jump on the damn point.
I've had points where I'm like a range character, like Widowmaker or something, and it's like, oh my god, nobody else is here. at least get on the point. Yeah, this is not my strength.
At least defend in the fact that just bounce around and stay alive long enough. Like, there's been times where I've done that where, especially with, like, May, like, I'll run to the corner, put up a wall, wait till the wall to jump down, put on my ice, and just sitting there going, I'm giving you, like, 20 seconds of stalling time. Someone come here.
Right.
And then no one comes, and you're just like, well, I'm going to die.
Yeah. But, Overwatch.
But it's a fun time.
It's really great. I love Overwatch. It's my favorite competitive game right now.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in a while. So that's that. What's next on our?
It's your playlist.
Oh, it's me. Oh,
yeah, it's all you, all Tom, all the time.
Okay. Well, super quick. There was a Steam Halloween sale, and I used it to pick up 2 games that have been on my list for a long time, and I just wanted to talk about these really quick because it's Midnight Club 2, which is a PS2 game that also came out on the PC, and Starship Titanic, which I've talked about ad nauseum, is one of the defining games of who I am as a person. Both of these are games that I've wanted to have newer copies of because I like them, but Midnight Club 2, I'd have to plug in my PS2, and Starship Titanic doesn't, I don't think it is compatible with Windows 7, at least the version that I have, which came out in 1996 or whatever. Yeah. And both these are on Steam, and I think one, if not both of them, have warnings that say not compatible with Windows 7. And so that's what's kept me from buying them. And then they were just on such a crazy sale this weekend that I thought, hell with it, I'll try it anyway. And I go in, and both of them work. Both of them work fine on my PC. Awesome. Midnight Club 2 took for getting the controller to work. It was really great. Like, it's the ultimate, back in my day, to get the controller to work exactly like the PS2 version, there's it's on the message board, the discussion page for it, but you go in and you download something on Google Drive, go to the game's configuration file and stuff like that. But it's like, if you remember this game on the PS2 and you have a controller, here's a mod, a roundabout mod that'll make it work. Because you can't go in the game and do it as properly. So if you want that experience, there is a way to do it. And Starship Titanic just works as it worked. As the original
point and click adventure?
Yeah. Well, point and chat adventure. Yeah. Explore them up. But yeah, so both of those work. If you have Windows 7, at least, I can vouch for them working. The big one that I played is Torment Tides of Numenera. Now, Torment had a free weekend, and this game came out in February. It's an enormously dense RPG in the vein of classic RPGs made recently, like Pillars of Eternity. Not like Divinity, but it's using literally the Pillars engine. Like, when it starts up, it says using the Pillars of Eternity engine. But it's a spiritual successor to Planescape Torment, which is a highly revered RPG that I never played. These are a specific genre of RPG that are much, much, much more like interactive novels. It's very text-based. You're walking around on I'd say it's primitive graphics. They're gorgeous, but it's isometric, characters are...
Yeah, it's there to give you a visual representation, but they're not there to stun you.
Exactly. It's like, okay, there's my character, there's my party, here's the world. You can walk around the world, but the game is really played in this little text window that's right here on the bottom of your screen. That's the game right there. It's a text adventure with visuals. But I wanted this when it came out. I thought, oh, this looks cool. This sounds great. These are up my alley. These kinds of games are up my alley. Played a little bit of it during the free weekend, and I thought, I need this immediately. I need this right now. And I bought it, and just like I said, I finished Overwatch's Halloween stuff, started playing this, and did not stop until 35 hours later when I finished it. Took about 5 days, I'd say, of
just about 35 hours, yeah.
Well, Saturday and Sunday, not doing anything else in my life, getting up, peeing, coming back and playing. It's been a long time since I played a game like that. And in fact, if I could compare it to something, it'd be Dragon Age Origins, which is my favorite video game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit spoiler-free about it right now. Then we'll wrap up our episode, and then after that, there's spoiler-ish stuff. We've done this before, and I will continue
so the MO will basically be if you want to hear basically the full review, including spoilers, wait till after we do the closing and just stay tuned. If you want to basically just hear what Thomas just said and just go from there, take it as you will, you'll go out and get the game and don't want to spoil it. We'll just, after we do the closing, just click off and don't bother listening to maybe the last 10-15 minutes.
We won't be offended. Like,
exactly.
I encourage
it's
people.
Okay.
Yeah, I encourage people, if they're interested in the game, after we end the episode, get the hell out of here and go.
We believe this is the best way of handling spoiler versus non-spoiler reviews. If you have any other ideas, please let us know. But this is at least how we've been operating. I
do apologize if anyone decides to join the Twitch stream like towards the end of it and is like, boy, I hope he's not at the point where, and that's when this happened.
But yes, we'll see and we'll find out. But like Tom said, we're gonna move on to the rest of the show. We'll close out and then we'll do the big spoilers.
Yeah. I do just before I get to that point, just kind of like to wrap up spoiler free on Torment. It's incredibly text based. If that is unappealing, don't get it. I would not encourage someone who's looking for an action game. There is combat in the game. I don't like it. It's not entertaining, but it's a game that encourages you to play however you want. That said, it does still veer towards, there is a non-combat way to solve this. It's almost like Dishonored, where it's like it kind of punished you for being aggressive, but you can do it. You can do it if you want. But if I was saying this to Brian here in chat, I wouldn't recommend it to you. I don't think it's a game that you would like. I think that it's a little too. I don't mean this in any offensive way, but it's too wordy.
It would be Steam sale bait for me. The reason, when I did Tyranny,
Tyranny is another game that's like
I didn't like it, but I enjoyed Divinity Original Sin 2, which is also extremely wordy. But
Divinity is a different kind of.
Yeah, it has a much better combat system. It has a different interface, different UI.
Divinity is more physical. It's more present in the world. This is very much walk the 3 feet to talk to this guy, and now I'm going to read a novella.
Exactly, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but like I said, it's not. For me, it'd be like Steam sale bait. It wouldn't be anything more than that.
I do want to specify when I say read, I mean it's interactive fiction. This is literally it's a choose your own adventure book in a game. So it's like you get dialogue and you have 7 options of how to respond. So that's very much Dragon Age Origins, which Dragon Age unfortunately has shied away from in recent years. But it's like, what do you think we should do with this situation? And there are just like 7 or 10 astoundingly different options that you could choose. And they're like, okay, that's how the world is going to change now because you said that. And it's just like, oh my God, what have I done? It's that kind of game.
But yes. So if you want to hear the full review, spoilers included, please stay tuned. But for everyone else, we're going to hear about the free game of the week. Our weekly feature where we pick out a free game that we recommend that you guys can go out as soon as this podcast ends or as soon as you listen to us finish the podcast and go out and play it. It is our free gift to you.
Gift of the week.
Exactly. This week we're highlighting a brand new little game that just came out for itch.io called Forager. Forager is a super cutesy survival crafting sim. It is purely top-down, super, not 8-bitty, but very pixelated kind of looking crafting system.
Styled.
Extremely. It's almost like super cutesy. Like your character is almost like a very cutesy like cartoon version of a basically a white pixelated cloud in the shape of some kind of dude.
Like Fez, a little bit, like
maybe kind of.
It's like
it's kind of a blocky pixelated
colorful
figure. Yeah, then then you pull out the hammer, it's like whoop, and it's just like a hammer that ding 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 ding. But it's a game that you have to focus on your hunger, you got to focus on your health, but also it allows you to craft, automate, and basically like you go out, you gather, then you level up and you craft, and then when you level up, you can focus on different skill trees, and you actually get to customize your character in ways you want. And you actually, the whole point of the game is that you have to focus on your survival, but also you got to focus on gaining wealth, because basically by crafting gold coins is how you purchase other land that you then use to increase your automation, increase your skill progression, increase your level up, so you keep going and going and going.
That solves a problem that video games have had forever. Why can't you just craft the money?
Yeah,
Instead of crafting this and selling it, why don't you just craft the money?
Eventually craft up gold coins that you can then use to buy other land, which then
it's literally all you're doing anyway.
Exactly. So it's a really cute game if you like, I'm trying to think of good games. It's not it's not like Factorio, but it's kind of like it's a crafting simulator. It's heavily a crafting simulator. It's very minor survival simulator. So I say it's mostly if you like crafting and automation, kind of, sort of. It's a cute game for you. Probably a really cool game to check out. It is still
free.
It's free. It is still technically in. I'd say it's not early access, but it's still kind of in like an alpha or a beta form right now. Not all of it's completed. Not all of it's fully vetted out. But it's like a crafting sim that doesn't take itself seriously. Like you could just pick up sand and just like throw it out in the ocean, and then later you can just grab it. Like you could just leave it as a storage chest, as like free, and then grab it later. And
love it.
Like you just walk up to a chicken, and then you can just cook it in a forge, and then it becomes cooked
meat. It's
the
anti-Zelda.
Like yeah, it's just like it's a cool little crafting game, and I think go out, check it in. It's free, and I think people who just like little time-wasty crafter games will love it. So please go check it out.
I do like me that.
And of course, you can check all that out and more on our website, which is addictedloot.com. From there, you can get access to our Facebook page, YouTube page, Twitch page, which we do a live recording of this podcast every week so that you can come and chat with us live and interact with us live as we record this lovely show that you all like to listen to with your ear holes. We do host this podcast, the audio versions of the podcast, on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. You can get access to our group email, which is addictedtoloot@gmail.com, where you can write to us for comments, concerns, questions, anything you want, for podcast requests.
If you want to send us a game to play, we'll play it.
Oh yeah, we will. Trust us. We will honor whatever you email us. So please, let us hear from you. In that same breath, you can get access to our group Twitter account, which is @addictedtoloot, which we use to give updates in terms of when the podcast will show or anything else like that going on. You can interact with us individually at our personal Twitters. Mine is @ATL_Atomic0. His is at TOMALITY. I don't know how I got into a brain loop right there, but at Tomality.
It's an ATAT.
Tomality, so TOMALITY, which we basically just interact with us just on a day-to-day, just see what's going on in our lives and just all the goofy stuff that we usually do. And with that,
keep it cheesy. Okay, so we're gonna go into
cheesy spoiler
territory. This is like a bonus track when you finish your album and all of a sudden like 2 minutes of silence and you suddenly hear some weird demo at the end. All right. Torment Tides of Numenera is fucking awesome. I love it. That's the spoiler version. No. So again, last chance to back out. I'm going to talk big game spoilers. And now when I say spoilers, it's a game that is shaped by what you do, but there is still specific stuff and interactions and stuff that I want to talk about. That do happen regardless. So the name Tides of Numenera, as I don't even know where to start, so I'm going to start there. Tides are morality. So it's not, Tides of Numenera sounds like, oh, it's the ocean of such and such. No.
Yeah, it sounds like some like ocean-bearing game.
Yeah. Tides are morality. Now this is all based on a pen and paper game that I know nothing about, and I didn't play Planescape Torment, so forgive my ignorance. But your tides are like, if you make this kind of decision, if you do something that's selfless and noble, you get a gold tide kind of boost. If you do something that's passionate, heat of the moment, making a decision. And it's very broad. It's like passionate can mean you suddenly broke a guy's neck, or passionate can mean, no, stand up for yourself, do the right thing. You get red tide,
So is the tide like a meter that builds up like Paragon and Renegade? Or?
Sort of, yes. It's like there's, I think there's gold, blue, silver, indigo, and red. I don't know.
Is it just a bunch of bars that gradually raise over time?
You don't see them.
Oh, okay.
You don't see them, but they are there. And there's a certain character that you can have in your party that will actually tell you what dialogue options boost what tides. So I ended up, for most of the game, I had like a mixed gold and blue tide, which gold is this is a video game character. It's I'll do that quest for you. Yeah, I'll help you out. Sure, whatever. and blue is like curiosity or knowledge seeking. So basically, every time you're asking more questions than you need to, you get a little blue tide. And anytime you're nice to somebody, you get a gold tide. But I'm surprised because I thought that I would have gone with the decisions I was making red, which was, again, impulse and passion.
So is this something that's kind of a calculation that's going on in the background that they tell you at the end of the game what you were generally as a player?
At all times when you go to your character like stat page, there's a little icon and it's the color of whatever tide or tides you are. So does the tides... And you can ride the middle. Like you can wrap up the game and just say like, oh my god, you did a little bit of everything.
So does the tide have an effect on the gameplay, or is it just kind of like a cool, fun thing to look at and go like, oh, my color's this now?
It has an effect on the gameplay, both how people perceive you. Like it says it'll do it in subtle ways.
So like depending on your tide could depend on like the dialogue options you get.
Yeah.
We heard that you're a jerk, so we don't like to talk with you.
Yeah. Okay. Or even if it's just an ambient dialogue, where it could say like, hey, I've heard that you're the person. I've had people say to me, I heard you're the kind of person that helps people out. Maybe you'd help me out. And I picked up like, cool. Okay, that's, really cool. That's probably
That's actually a really cool way of doing it.
Yeah, it's sort of like the whole thing feels like it's Dungeons and Dragons, but not. It's like, okay, we've got your lawful neutral stuff like that, but different. Mm-hmm. So that's tides, and Numenera is not the name of a place, which I thought it was. Numenera is a term that means all. So the game takes place 1 billion years in the future, and it's a really cool setting. It's science fantasy. Like, it's fantasy on the surface, but it's humanity has had 1 billion years to rise and fall and rise and fall and rise and fall. And all of the artifacts and just shit of 1 billion years of humanity continue to exist. So it's such a cool concept. You could just find something and it's like, we don't know what this is. We don't know what it does. Some ancient form of humanity used this, and it's like a child's top or something. And it's like, this is Numenera. It's an artifact of the past.
So it's a general term to describe just unknown artifacts.
It's literally trash. Like, Numenera is everything. It's everything that's existed prior to now. So the game's premise, there's so much to unpack. The game's premise starts off and you're falling. You're just falling from the sky. You're falling to your death. Just oh my god, what's happening? Who am I? What's going on? And it uses that to create your character because you remember certain things. And it's like, I remember doing this. I remember having this interaction. And it crafts your kind of class, and it will give you a chance to say, is this who you want to be? So what I ended up doing is speccing, basically, as the rogue, which is called a jack, because a jack of all trades. And you get different personality types, and kind of thing that was a little bit of a bummer is I went initially with the choices I went with. It said, do you want to be a charming jack? And I thought, yeah. And then I looked at the skills that come with that, and it said that you have excellent persuasion, you have a silver tongue, you can convince people very well, you have a lot of good persuasion and perception skills, but you also have deception. Like you can trick people. And I thought, I don't know. Like I want to role play a guy that's charming but not deceitful. And actually the one that's called slick versus charming does that, which I would have thought it'd be the other way around. Like I would have thought a slick character is the kind of guy who could tell a lie and have you believe it, where the charming one is the one that's like, oh, listen, you should do this because it's a good idea, oh, I believe you. But I ended up going with the slick character because he didn't have deception, which I thought was an interesting kind of a weird little quirk. I would have thought it'd be the other way around. But you start off, and there are two people there, and you've just fallen to the earth, and they're like, holy shit, you're a cast-off. And so what a cast-off is, there's a guy called the Changing God, or they call him the Changing God. And he's, sometime years and years ago, discovered immortality. But the way he's immortal is that he has a body, and then when he's done with it, he leaves the body and goes and forms another one. That body he left behind the vacuum now gets filled with another consciousness. So another person, like a newborn, is formed there. And that's what's just happened to you. You were the Changing God's most recent host, and now you've just, your brain, your soul has just formed in his body. And so it's just like, what? And so there are people who remember you when you were the Changing God. There are people who remember what you did. So there are people who will be like, you can show up in town. There's a guy that's like, hey, you, boom, just deck you or something like that. And it's like, I have no idea who you are. I've never met you before. Oh, but I met you, It's a really cool concept to do the video game amnesia thing, where, you start a game, it's like, I don't remember who I am, so I'm starting from scratch with basic stats, It's doing that, but in a very cool narrative way. And so as you go, you're going around and you're meeting people and you're interacting with people, and it's so delightfully weird. I love how weird it is because of the setting, because it's humanity a billion years in the future. Literally anything goes. They can throw anything out there and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like there's a cult of people who eat people, and when they eat a person, they gain that person's memories. And so one of these people in this cult is like the local executioner, which makes sense because if a person's guilty of a crime, he eats them and is like, I know who else was there. I know who else was part of the crime. Or yes, this person was guilty. Or, oh no, this person was innocent. Oh no, but I've eaten him anyway. And it's just such cool, weird, strange concepts. Time travel, yep, that's just a thing that happens. Alternate realities, yeah, they just happen. Go into different planets. Aliens on Earth, alien visitors, yeah, they just hop around. That's a thing that happens, These people look like reptiles. These people look like fish. It just happens. It's life. And it's so cool because it's like a game of random, off-the-wall sci-fi concepts that all make sense. They all work because it's just like, yeah, time travel. Yeah, that's existed. Oh, we can freeze a guy in time. Oh, you can see the city as it was 100 years ago through this device. Just, you can. And so instead of getting bogged down in like the how and the why, it's more, okay, here's this thing. It happens. Help us solve this mystery. Like there's a mystery that's going on of random murders happening in the Undercity. And so it's like, well, who could help me? I'll go to the cult that murders people for knowledge. Like, hey, do you guys know anything about this? This seems kind of like it's happening right outside your cave here, so forgive me for being a little suspicious. But it's like, there's one of the guys that's your companions, he has tattoos, and when he fights, the tattoos become weapons. They become like wires that he could shoot out and stuff. And I am not going to spoil this, but it ends up being a huge plot point for this specific character. And it's just, it does do some typical fantasy things. Like you come across, my favorite companion is this little girl. This person says, hey, I'm a slaver. Slaver's illegal, whatever. I'm a slaver. One of my slaves, this little girl, a friend of mine, has run off. Can you go and rescue her for me? I'll reward you. And so, of course, you can find her, and it's like, what do? Do you turn her over? Do you turn her over and ask for a reward? Do you say you'll turn her over and then, screw the person over? Do you keep her? Do you buy her? What do you want to do? It's just a million solutions to everything. And I ended up saying, no, I'm holding on to the girl. She's like a 7-year-old. This is not right. None of this is right. Slavery, none of this. This isn't right. But you've done horrible things to this girl. I'm not going to let you do any more. And so I kept this girl in my party. You can only have 3 people in your party. And all she's good at is running really far and hiding. So if I was ever in any combat situation, she was worthless. So it was kind of like a sacrifice I had to make. 2/3 of the way through the game, I meet someone who's like, I know who she is. Because she doesn't know. She doesn't remember who she is, where she came from. Guy says, I know who she is. I know how to get her home. I can send her back home. And throughout the whole game, like, she's been my moral compass. Like, I'll start to make a decision, and she'll interrupt and be like, no, don't do that. And I'll be like, nope. She says no, we're not doing it. And so just would have just this incredible, like, father adopted daughter bond with this character. And then she's like, should I go? I was like, me at the computer, like, yep, go ahead. Have fun. Go home to your family. She's like, I'll always remember you. And she goes through the portal and is gone. And she's gone. Fast forward to the very, very end of the game. It's like the darkest moment. I'm not going to spoil this kind of stuff, but it's like the darkest moment. And a portal opens up. And out comes this tall, jacked, armor-clad, crossbow-wielding woman. And she's like, good to see you again. I heard you needed some help. I was just like, oh, you've grown up. You're back. Ah! And she has like the best friggin' skill set. She has like OP abilities. And I thought, that's so clever. They're like, hey, you know, I don't know if they meant this, but for having this like weak character in your party for the whole game, at the very end, we're going to give you her back as the strongest character you'll ever have. Just to kind of
help you out, like,
and it was just like
sacrifice of love, but
yeah, it was so worth it. But just on an emotional level, it was amazing. It was so great. The game is astoundingly dense. It certainly has years of replay value. I'm not eager to replay it only because I felt like this was my story. I want to sit on it. I want to unpack it. I want to think about it. As you play, this makes sense. The story kind of takes over. There is this central story that's kind of happening, and it starts to become kind of all that's really going on. But everything else that's happened up to this point starts to add, like, it all adds up. It all kind of connects into this. It's like the whole thing is going like this. It's like funneling up into the ending. Like, oh, this weird cult. Oh, this thing. Oh, this group of assassins. Oh, the fact that time travel exists, the fact that alternate realities exist. They go from being all these weird things that are happening to, oh, it's all connecting. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so the last kind of like third of the game is sort of just plot only, kind of rush, which is okay. I certainly preferred the game in its earlier spots where I was just like a denizen of this weird world. But once I started becoming a chosen one and things like that, it's like, okay, yeah, typical, you know, yep. been here, done that. But it doesn't lose its skill for decision making. And in fact, the ending of the game that I picked, I'm torn because I kind of want to talk about it. All right, this is everybody's very last chance to turn away. I want to talk about the ending of it.
I'm going to be working on a spoiler alert for the next upcoming cast.
This is the very, very, very last chance. If everything I've said so far sounds appealing and you want to play it, go out and play it. Bye. Yeah, talk to you later. Okay. So throughout the game, you are being pursued by this giant, enormous mass of like tentacles and stuff. It looks like the Grim Reaper with just giant sinewy tentacles called the Sorrow. As you play, you find out that he is systematically hunting it down and killing every cast off. So there's like, there's hundreds of you. There's the changing god has made a body, left a body, made a body, left a body, enough that you're like half the population. And you meet those of you that are out there and stuff, and you're kind of like brothers and sisters. You view yourselves as family. It's not like, oh my God, we're clones. It's like, you're my brother, you're my sister. We all have the same father. And if you want to read religious connotations into it, they're there to be read, I think. So this Sorrow is saying, your kind, at the very end of the game, it says, your kind are all that's my only goal. I just want to destroy all of you because you guys, you specifically, you cast-offs, abuse the tides. You use, which you can as a gameplay element and as a like narrative element, you can use your power to change people's minds, to make an atomic bomb, whatever. You can, if you have a strong, I'm just making this up, if you have a strong red tide burst, maybe you've blown someone up, you're abusing your power. And so I have to kill. And what's cool is he says, I don't know why. I just was created. It's almost like if there was just one Reaper left in Mass Effect, mm-hmm. and he's like, I don't know why I do what I do, but someone created me to kill all of humanity and the galaxy, so I just do it. And it's like, so you're talking with this thing, and you could say, well, what would make you happy? What would resolve this? He says, well, you've got a couple of options here. You can form all of the cast-offs into a worthy host. And who is that? Is that you? Is that the first ever cast off? Is it this girl who's the daughter of the cast off? Like, you know, all these characters that you've met along the way. Or he could say, you destroy all cast offs, all of you die, and I go away forever. And it's like, yeah, but they're innocent. They didn't do anything. And then he's like, those are your two choices. But then there's the third choice where you could say, I reject that. I reject your offer. I will destroy you myself. I personally will destroy you because everyone early on in the game, or I guess maybe halfway through the game, there's a character that asks you, what does one life matter? And you have like 20 options. And I chose every life matters, whatever it means to each person, which is my personal philosophy. This is the first game where I feel like I've been able to use my personal philosophy as like a guiding force. I said, every single person's life is whatever it means to them. Or, you know, you could choose, well, everyone is serving a greater good. Everyone's serving themselves. Or life doesn't matter. Everyone should be destroyed. We're all corrupt and horrible, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I chose, you know, again, early on, I chose every life can be decided by the own person. You know, it's up to every person to decide what their life is worth to themselves. And so the sorrow is like, well, I guess you're staying true to your word, aren't you? And it's like, he's like, if you destroy me, you allow all your other cast-offs to just, you know, go wild. And there will be madness, there will be chaos, there will be destruction like you wouldn't believe, because I'm not keeping people in check. And it's like, but if you stay alive, you will kill every one of them, even though they did nothing wrong. And I went, yeah, no, I'm going to take you down. I want everyone to be free. And so I sacrificed myself. It's like the red ending in Mass Effect where you shoot the thing.
Yep.
I was like, I'm going to literally destroy you. And you do, at the expense of your own life. And you get an ending, like, title card, like epilogue card. And it says, you left the world both incredibly better and incredibly worse than it was when you started. That's your legacy. The end. I was like,
interesting.
Okay. And when I looked up the other endings, and the other endings are severely different. Like, you did this, and there was peace for a time until this happened. Or, you did this, and everybody died. It's always a bittersweet kind of ending.
Yep.
But it was interesting to see, because it was like, it wasn't an epilogue, it was a death state. There's a certain message that comes up when you die, and it says, okay, your legacy is this. And so I thought, that's really interesting. So if I, myself, me, Tom, pursued my mentality to a celestial godlike level and had my choice of what to do with the world, I would both greatly improve and greatly ruin it. I would just take everything that's going on and amp it up. So it's like people who are doing good have done great. People who are doing horrible have caused the worst devastation known to humanity. So I thought, well, that's interesting. But everyone retained their right to live.
Exactly.
So, fascinating thing. Absolutely fascinating game. There were a couple parts where I didn't quite connect with it. There are these things where you go into people's memories, and it literally becomes a visual novel to the point where it's just flat slides of images and the text, rather than being, you know, you in the world. And those didn't quite land for me. They take you to a different place and are using different names and terms and things. So it's like, whoa, I know I'm supposed to be thinking, oh, I'm in a foreign mind. I don't understand this stuff, but it was just confusing more than anything. Maybe it was meant to be. And the other problem I had, like I said, the combat is atrocious. I would avoid it at all costs. But there were a couple of quests, not a lot, but enough that I noticed, where it would be one guy standing there and he's like, hey, I'm just going to make this up. I've lost my necklace. Can you find it? And then literally the person 2 feet to his right is like, I've just found this necklace. I don't know what to do with it. And it's like, okay, I can solve this whole quest right here. You know, instead of most of the quests take you across the world and are doing different things. But there were just a couple of quests where it's like, oh, the beginning, middle, and end of this quest are all on this one screen here. And so it's just kind of like, oh, that's not, you know.
But I guess at the same time, the quest was a visual, you know, a dialogue, a deep dialogue, and you completed it. It's just that, you know, it might have
just from a visual standpoint, it was like, oh, and that's fine. It was convenient.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're still. satisfied with the quest, how it went, but at the same time, it's basically click, 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 and then just a bunch of dialogue.
Yeah, turn to this guy, turn to that guy, turn to this guy. Like there was
like
one
you're
that
running
I
a
remember.
board meeting, just
Yeah, the one where I sent the little girl back through the portal. The guy was like, I need a person who feels strong passion for you but doesn't know you very well. And then literally within viewing distance is a guy that's like, oh, I love you and I don't know you. It's like, you know what I mean? It felt cheap.
just like it's like too like
You've presented the problem and the solution so obviously, because there are so many where it's not obvious. There were so many things where it was like one that I really liked. There was this bird person who had stolen something that I could use to help convince another guy of something. Blah blah blah. I needed something from the bird person, and I talked to him, and I'm like, "What can I do, non-violently, to convince you to give me that back?" He says, do something impossible for me. Give me the illusion of flight. Allow me to fly, because they can't.
Did you throw him off a building?
Well, probably could have been possible. But, of course, everyone around him is like, ha, that's not possible. We can't fly. And then elsewhere in the city, like some distance away, is a person who makes potions that induce memories. I thought, I wonder. And when I talked to that person, one of the new dialogue options was, can you convince a person that they've flown? She goes, well, yeah, I can make a potion for anything. Make me one of those, please. Mm-hmm. And I went, it worked.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I thought that's the kind of solution that it has, where it's like, oh, this one, it's not like, hi, I'm person A for quest. Hi, I'm person B for quest. It was like, oh, I'm just, a random shopkeeper. I'm quest objective guy. One thing I wish I could have done but didn't is like sometimes when I would find someone dead, it'd be like, I wonder if I can feed them to the cultists
and see what their memories were.
There was one, oh my god, there's one item that I got later in the game. Just I think it was just from a random happenstance. I cannot remember how I came across it, but it allows you to hear people's memories, or not memories, thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that's cool. You don't need it. It's not necessary. But all of a sudden and I started talking to people, and like there was a guy who was in a cell, and he's like, please let me out of here. I'm innocent. And then under it, it's like, I hope he believes me.
That's awesome. That's
so
really
all
awesome.
You would have seen if you didn't have that is, please help me out. I'm innocent. Yeah. And because I had that, I was just kind of like, oh, innocent. And so I was able to use, I haven't even really talked about, I'll just touch on it really quick. The way that you actually do stuff, more than just dialogue, there's a points system in 3 different pools. You have might, speed, and intellect. You have a limited amount of points in those pools, and as you level up, you can add more points. So there is the RPG character leveling up element, even if you're doing non-combat stuff. And when you're doing something that requires significant effort, that's literally what it's called. The actual currency is effort. Mm-hmm. You go into that pool. So it's like if you want to persuade someone of something that's really going to take some, like you're trying to change someone's mind, you then have a meter that shows up with a couple of different nodes. And it's like your intellect meter. You have 11 points of intellect. You can spend 2 points of intellect for a 25% chance, or 3 points of intellect for a 50% chance. But now you've lost 3 points of intellect. So now you only have 8 until you go to sleep and end your day. So
that's kind of cool.
It's a chance system.
Like intellect bucks. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can, say, I really need this. So I'm going to just waste all of my intellect points on this guy for 100% chance I'll convince him. 2 seconds later, you talk to someone and it's like, oh, I need those intellect points to convince this person.
But could you just, as soon as you spend all of them, go to sleep, come back, talk to the next person, go to sleep, come back?
So you know that mission where the murders were happening?
Yeah.
One murder had happened already. And I thought, well, this sucks. And the guy's like, find out who did this. And along the way, I met this absolutely wonderful, frail mutant creature, this girl named Crooked Queek. And she was like, I like you. You're cool. I'll be your friend. Nobody likes me. Will you like me? Yeah, I like you. You're cool. Thank you. You're the first nice person I've ever met in my life. So I did my day. I did my stuff. I go to sleep. I wake up. There's been another murder. Crooked Queek is dead.
Wow.
I was so wrecked, like real life wrecked from that. So sleeping has its consequences as well. If you've got missions that are underway, they will advance. There was another mission where buildings are falling. There's this cliffside like village, and buildings are slowly falling into the sea. And thank God, there was one person where I was able to convince them, like, they were like, no, I'm not leaving my home. I said, you probably should. Like, buildings are falling here. And until I find out why, you should probably leave your house. Next day, I went back, and she was like, oh my God, my home fell into the sea. Thank you for convincing me. But if I didn't,
she would have just, yeah,
she would have died. Yeah. That NPC no longer exists. Any missions with her failed. She was a merchant. Couldn't have bought anything from her anymore. So
wow, that's awesome. That's a really deep game.
It was one of the most intense things I've played since XCOM. Like, just in the sense of, XCOM is intense in a gameplay sense of like, oh my God, I've lost this character. Yeah. Now missions are going to be harder. This was like, oh my God, I've lost this character. I'm wrecked. I feel like I've lost a family member. It's impossible, yeah. Yeah. Everything is pretty much possible, which is really great. So that's Torment Tides of Numenera.
Yeah. If it sounds good to you, go check it out.
Yeah. Are we still doing this? Are we still streaming?
Oh, yeah, we've been going.
God. Anyway, hi to anyone who's still here.
But thank you for joining us. This has been episode 61 of the Addicted Loop Podcast, spoilers included. And as always, keep it.
Oh, I've run out of cheese.